All right, everybody. We're here. I'm letting everybody get in, getting the chat room going. Good evening, everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and this is a live show, so it does take a few minutes to get going. If you're catching us on the replay, you can catch us live. We're on just about every night. I do take some Saturdays off, but we're on just about every night here. Hey, Lady Hawk. First in tonight. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We've got a lot going on tonight, and we're going to be covering all of it. We've got a number of things here to talk about tonight, and so I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about all of it. We've got we don't have like a huge amount of breaking news. It's Sunday. You guys know how the news cycle works, especially with politics, although we don't do politics. But what ends up happening is the news cycle winds down over the weekend. Not a lot happens. Hey, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Rusty, I'm not sure. 1987, thank you for being here. Yep, we're on just about every night here except some Saturdays. I've been on for about 5 years now. I started just doing mostly ham radio stuff, and I've ventured out into this. I do work in professional media, produce a talk radio show on the weekdays, and then right after that I come home and produce this show on YouTube. And this is my private studio here at the house, and I built this building out behind the studio, and just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. There we go. You can see that there. This is the whole studio for you to see there. I have 4 workstations in here that controls 9 computers. And hey, Steven, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. Always looking for new members. That's what it's all about here on YouTube. But this is Starship Studios, and it's a structure I built in my backyard. And its sole purpose when I built it was a TV studio, and that's what we have. We have a total of 6 cameras. We have a total of 9 computers. We can put out 8 simultaneous streams at this point. And we're working on some new software right now, and we're going to be providing a bunch of this new way of doing scanner feeds, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But yeah, it's going to be good. Also, there's some stuff to watch in the tropics tonight. Big brush fires still burning out in California, and there's also been some new seismic activity around the Russian peninsula there, where we had that huge earthquake that caused that tsunami warning last week. And so or was it week? I get it mixed up. It's been 8 or 10 days ago now. And so we'll go through all of that as the night goes on here. But how we do it is we do what we call a grid. And the grid is this. In the upper left corner, nothing going on tonight. It's a quiet night on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. We just pick random places to watch while we're on. If there's breaking news, we'll go to those. If there's no breaking news anywhere specifically, then we'll put up live views of places and watch that. And I have commentary on other things as well. I do terrestrial weather, space weather, radio propagation, amateur radio. I also do paranormal, sci-fi. It's a fairly wide palette here, but it's all based mostly on science. I am really a science channel. I love the science. But we also get into this, which we cover everything, manhunts, everything but politics. I do politics at work, and I don't want to do it here. So we don't do politics here. I don't care who you voted for. I really don't. What I do is an open discussion in our chat room. We have a free speech chat room here. We let people talk about whatever they want, pretty much. The only issue we have with this podcast is my yawning. It's funny, I don't know what it is. There's something about doing these late evening shows like this. I yawn through the whole thing, so I apologize up front. What the hell? I don't yawn when I'm not on the air. It's a psychological thing. I probably need a shrink or a couch or something. All right. In the middle there, we've got New York. There's Times Square, and you can see there the normal going on there. Kind of a busy night. There's another one. What's the deal with the awning tonight? Oh my God, it's even worse than normal. Noble Aquarius. I see we've had a branding change, kind of like Cracker Barrel. Um, you're still the same guy though. You just repainted the walls, right? Just like Cracker Barrel. We'll talk about that later too. They had to go reinvent themselves. And I think that they took away part of what made that place special, the nostalgia. And we'll talk about that here in just a little while. I would love to spend more time sleeping, but I was involved in an explosion in 1992 that has destroyed my back. And no matter where I sleep or how I sleep, I get maybe 6 hours in the rack, and that's it. My back starts hurting. If I lay around in the rack past 6 hours, what will end up happening is what always happens is I get a really bad back pain, and then I can't work. I still go to work, but I mean, I can't fix things, work in the yard, do things physical. I can still go in and, as an absolute cripple that can't walk, I still go in and work the board at work for the show, and I still come on here. But I need to be able to work on things and do things, and that's very difficult when my back's out. So what I do, oh, okay, all right, Aquarius, that's cool. What I do is when I wake up, my back's already starting to hurt. I go ahead and right then and there, I just get up. Because if I don't, then I'm in trouble. Yeah, it's the same thing with me. And so I only can get so much sleep. Naps, I'm learning to siesta. I'm learning a new respect for that tradition of siesta that was given to us by the Mexicans, who understood very well that if you just give your brain a 30 or 45-minute break about halfway through the day, it works. And and I'm being totally serious. This is something they do in a lot of places. They call it a tea time in some countries. They call it siesta in others. They call it afternoon break time. That's called a lot of things. But people that work, especially more than 8 hours, what they're finding is after lunch, about an hour or two after lunch, if you just go and lay down somewhere in a dark room and don't sleep, just go lay down and let your mind think about something, and just allow your mind to be in neutral, and you don't quite get into REM sleep. You get into a real light sleep. And I've been working on this, and I'm getting to where I siesta 2 or 3 times a week. If I'm tired, about 2 hours before I go to work, I go in there. It's dark in my room, cold, dark, and quiet. My 3 prerequisites, and I lay down and I do a siesta, and I like it. And just take a little break, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and I just lay there. Sometimes I listen to a podcast. Sometimes I got Hunter or something on for the cats, and I just leave that on and listen to it. Are you saying there's flooding in Wisconsin? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, I'll tell you guys right now. This channel started as Saturday Night TechNet. That's how it started. And after the first year and a half or so, I rebranded it Starship Adventures. To this day, when I sign in, it asks me what channel I want to get into the control panel for or whatever. Anytime it asks me, I have to select Saturday Night Paranormal, and it brings me to this channel. My other channel was branded Disaster Live, and it's now my backup channel, Starship After Dark. And so anytime I'm going to that channel, I have to click Disaster Live, because that was the original name of the channel. So that's what's probably going on, is your channel will forever be known privately to you in the back as your original channel. I don't like it, but that's the way YouTube does it. So To this day, 3 years, 3.5 years after my rebrand, I am still selecting my old name to get into the podcast. Oh wow. Yeah, I'll pull that up and we'll go through that too tonight. That's incredible. All right. Also on the grid tonight, earlier we had a big protest in London. I wanted you guys to see that. This was a pro-Palestine protest. So I don't know how that works exactly. I mean, are they? I guess they're pro. I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's still kind of confusing to me because Palestine, the people in Palestine, the terror groups do some really horrible things. And then as soon as whatever the horrible things are, then everybody's like, we're not terrorist groups, we're Palestinians. And it gets really confusing to me. It's one of those things where, your army doesn't wear army clothes. It's kind of hard to tell who's in the army. And I just really don't understand all these people out supporting Palestine. We've got a lot of problems in Palestine. I don't think this is helping. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't necessarily always support the other side either. I think there needs to be a lasting solution here, and it's been going on for a lot longer than anyone on this earth has been alive, and so I don't know what will eventually ever happen with it. And then below that, right above me, right here, we've got the Israel release the hostages protest, because Palestine and the terrorist groups that reside within are holding Israeli hostages to this day. They just had the story about the one guy that they bring him down there and have him dig his own grave, and then they tell him, no, we'll use it for somebody else, and they put him back in his shell. They've done that a bunch of times. Just heartless people. Yeah, it's weird. We are talking about the name. Okay, it's because when you create your account, that is your channel name, unless you create a channel. Okay, so I know that if you have not created a sub channel, then you will come up as your regular screen name. What you need to do is go and create a channel, another channel with the name that you want. Like I have a channel that's like Ian13589 or something, and of course nothing happens there, but that's the channel, that's the principal channel associated with my email address. And then I created these two channels underneath it. So that could be it too. I'm not sure. It is screwy how it's done on YouTube, I will say. I love YouTube, don't get me wrong. I bitch about it every now and then, but for the most part, it's a wonderful broadcast service. I just love the fact that all the opportunity that it provides me here, and I just love that. Oh, that's weird. I have no idea, Noble. That's why. Why do things have to be like this? Why does it have to be so GD complicated? I don't know. Yeah, it's different channels depending on when they were created or what server they're on. I don't know, but they do behave differently. I've noticed that. That is so weird. It is weird. You could try signing in as a different browser. Make sure that you're signed in as your channel name, your subsequent channel name, and not your main name. I don't know. That's weird. Weird. All right, so what else we got going on here? I'm going to keep those up for a little while. The Israeli one purports to be live. However, it's obviously very dark there and very early in the wee hours of the morning. So I'm going to say that's probably earlier also. Although I will admit, no one protests like the Middle East. And that's I'm talking whether you're talking about Jewish people or you're talking about Muslim people. No one protests like the Middle East. I mean, people die in their protests. They're bad over there. Um, oh, okay. Hey, Brandon. Yeah, I didn't realize that was you. I was like, who's this mod that I made a mod that I don't know who it is? It's confusing. I don't know. uh, yeah, I don't know. I have no settings that I would be aware of on this side or anything. But yeah, that's crazy. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start going through the different news items that we've got here. And let's start with radar Omega. Where we are right now is, look at this. This storm has completely faded away. This had a tornado warning just 25 minutes ago. So what this tells me is the air out there where we have this big warning area is suddenly stabilizing. Now, over here, we still have an area here that is very unstable. And anywhere inside this gold circle, we could see a tornado tonight. We could see some severe weather. Not expecting long track tornadoes or anything like that. It's kind of the wrong time of year for really severe tornadoes. That's more of a spring phenomenon and certain times in the fall. But when you get in the dead of summer like this, it's normally milder storms with just a few dust ups here and there. And you'll see more of the hardcore long track EF4 and EF5 stuff more towards late March, April, May, and early June. And that's your tornado season, especially for Oklahoma and Kansas, in those areas where it gets really bad. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these screen names tonight. I don't know. Mine always comes up right, I think. I do chat in other people's chat rooms pretty regularly, and I see it coming up right. So I'm assuming mine's working right. And I chat as my channel normally, and not my personal name. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Anyway, so this is what's going on weather-wise, and that's all I have to report there. But we are going to keep watching this. I have no cameras at all right now active, and no storm chasers active. So that being said, there's really not much to watch. I got a storm chaser down here sitting on standby in Tulsa, and that's about it. I mean, everything else here, these are stationary cameras, and there'll be nothing to see here. There we go, a little sunset going on. Yeah, I'll put it there. I don't care. Let's see what else we can find. Maybe we can find some cool cams. Since we don't need the whole radar screen anyway. What do we got going on? I see south of Kansas here. This is that second one there. He's right here. We've got some shit moving in there. Shit, that's the technical term, right? Alright, I'll just put these up. I'll keep looking for cams. We'll keep looking for good weather cams. But that's what we got for right now. And that's, like I said, this is in the Kansas City area. But none of this is expected to be severe. We could get some strong storms in this area here. And that's about where we're at. Colorado and points south and east. Including Boise, Idaho, or whatever. Boise, Oklahoma, I'm sorry. And it come down here. Colorado Springs is just outside of it. And then Dodge City is there. And it doesn't quite make it to Waukita. So that's where we're at. Or Wichita. Sorry, it was covering it up. All right, and so there you go. Oh boy, they got the bobbies out, you know what I mean? You better watch out. Hello, I'm gonna need your details. Hit a foot and get your details, please. Everyone, please get out your details. I was listening one night to one of those cop watcher videos out there. And the cop kept saying, I need your details. I need your details. You do bloody void details if you can't get. And I'm like, what does he say? Details. Over there, you don't give ID, you give details. You give your details. And it literally, I had to like listen to it for a few minutes before I figured. He's saying, me bloody details. And I'm like, oh, okay. I love the British accent is probably my favorite of all the accents. I just love the British accent. Yes, yeah. If it was, if it was 70 years ago in a certain other country, it would be your papers. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, got some South London cockney, if you know what I mean. You lost me bumper shoot in me 14 boot. I love that accent. I love the real nasty Cockney South London more than like the Queen's English. I can do both, but I prefer the Cockney shitty one. Kind of the New York version of Brit. I love it. I love accents. I love all of them. Anyway. It seems to be showing our handles can change in studio customization. That's not something I can control, I don't think. Australia! I love Australia too. Did YouTube change some shit? I didn't change anything, guys, I swear to God. I don't know. I haven't. I don't think I would have any control over any of that anyway. Okay. Yeah. I don't. I don't know. I don't think I have anything that can do that. I don't know, man. I don't know, but it's one of them things. We'll figure it out. All right, so here's the big news from the weekend. Are you guys ready? I wish I got to get my button bar up. It's the one thing I don't have. I need my breaking news sounder. This is a news alert. I bought a car. I paid 5,000 cash for it. I bought a car. I bought a 2011 Hyundai Sonata with ice cold air, and it's silver. It's beautiful. It's in great shape. It still runs good, 150,000 miles. It should get me. I paid cash for it, so I'm going to be able to put the actual bare minimum insurance on it, and which is what I want to do. It's yeah, it's just YouTube being weird. So I bought the car, and I'm already in the process of wiring it. I've got a few more parts coming tomorrow. I'm putting a little switch panel in it with some more power plugs. I'm going to mount at least one radio in it, and I'm going to have a power cord for another radio that I'll put in it when I'm going to work POTA. And then I also got a little antenna for the trunk lid that I put on there, and I got that yellow light I showed you for the roof. And I've got it all, it's all sitting in the car. I'm just waiting tomorrow for the wire and the connectors. Once I get that, man, I'm telling you, I'm going to wire this thing like a cop car. It's going to be done very professionally. I've got the big fuse buses to go out by the battery, and I'm going to come in and run it through the firewall, and it's going, the wires will come in to, I bought for $10 the little blade fuse junction box, and I've got all the connectors for that. And everything will have its own fuse, and that wire will come into that fuse junction box, which will be up under the dashboard, where it won't get hurt, and it's got a cover that goes on it and everything. And then I got a marine switch panel. I like they make them for cop cars, and I've always seen them. I've been using them for years. Back when I was a firefighter and all that stuff, we had all these different little switch panels, and I started looking at them. and they're wanting like $50, $60 for these stupid little switch panels. So I bought this marine one, which is really cool. It's got the like flat rocker switches. It's got blue lights in it. It's really cool. It's got a voltage thing. It's got 2 USB charging ports. It's got a power port, 6 switches. The whole thing was like 15 bucks. So that fits perfectly down where I normally would have like a big hole to store garbage in. See, I'm one of those people, if I got a hole to store garbage in, I fill it up with garbage. And I don't want that. I don't need it. The thing that goes between the seats, I'm taking the cover off that, and radios and stuff are going to mount in there, it looks like. And I'll have my switches down in there. My controller for my lights will be down in, there's like a thing there that holds change. And the controller for the lights is going to fit out perfect in there. So it's going to be neat when I get ready to go out storm chasing, or if there's news, breaking news, I'm going to go cover it with you guys. And I don't care what it is. If it's in my distance, I'm going to jump in the car and I'm going to go. And I'm also installing 2 permanent mount phone holders that are made for like sports stuff, like kayaking and stuff. They're designed to hold your phone really, securely. I'm going to have one of those set up right in front of me, right above the steering wheel. So you will be able to see me, and you'll be able to see out the front window, and I can switch it back and forth. And then I'm probably going to have a second one too. It'll be pretty cool. I can't wait to get it all going. Should have all the wiring done within a week, and we should be set to go. We should be able to get back out there and start doing stuff again. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Yes, I'm mounting a VHF UHF amateur radio in there. And I've already got the antenna on there for it. I got a brand new antenna for it. It's got the little stubby that goes on there, but I've got the 5/8 wave in the trunk. So if I'm going out of town or whatever, I just take the little stubby off and put the 5/8 wave on there. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to put a CB in it. I have no room. There's nowhere to put anything in this car. All cars are like this now. Years ago, for those of you who are as old as me, we used to just mount shit under the dashboard, or there would be plenty of room to just make a big hole in the dashboard and mount it right in the dashboard, or mount it under the dashboard. I can remember our fire trucks would have radios and sirens and shit all mounted up underneath the dashboard. And yeah, you just don't do it no more, because there is no under the dashboard. It goes all the way down and under, and the way the car is designed with the whole center thing that comes down the middle. I looked around, and truthfully, there is no good car to mount stuff in unless you buy something that used to be a cop car, because cop cars come like that. They come with a big open space there where your agency can put in the radio mounting hardware and stuff in the middle. And but most other cars don't do that. They've got cup holders and everything else there. So I know, it's crazy. It is. There's nowhere to mount anything. And in Florida, you don't dare leave anything on the dashboard. I mean, you can't like mount radio. I see a lot of people up north, they got their radios mounted right on their dashboard. Well, that's great. In Florida, that shit wouldn't last a year. Anything on that dashboard gets up to 180 degrees, 180 degrees, and it stays there all day long with the sun beating down on it. And remember, that in the summertime, the sun is directly overhead for us. It literally gets just slightly north of directly overhead for us. There's about 2 weeks a year where the north-facing wall on our house gets a little bit of sun. That's how far south we are here, that we actually get the sun just north of directly overhead. Where you guys, if you're up north or even in the mid-latitudes of the country, your sun is always south of you. It's never north of you. You got to really come far south to get to that. And so down here, the sun, it destroys everything, especially if it's on the dash, because it comes right down through the windshield. All right, so what else do we got here? Let's see what we got going on. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. This is Starship Adventures, and tonight we have a lot going on, but not a whole lot going on. It's one of those kind of weird nights. But hey, anyway, I am live tonight, and this is Southwest Florida. This is Starship Studios, which I built behind my home, and I still have 3 screens out, as you can see. 1, 2, 3. Those are display ports that have gone out in my smaller computers because of a lightning strike, and so we're working on that. That's the 7.2 computer right there, and the Baltimore scanner or Chicago scanner that's still up is back over here. We are working on this new program here that's going to revolutionize scanning. It's already being used in commercial applications, and we took the idea and ran with it, and we've built our own program. And what this thing does is it listens to different scanner feeds simultaneously. It records anything it hears, start to finish. Then, once it hears something and it records it start to finish, it moves it over into a play queue where then it will play as soon as the opportunity comes up. What this does, it does 3 things. Number 1, it reduces dead air almost to nothing, because now there's always something waiting to be played. Number 2, it reduces or eliminates completely double audio. You won't hear people talking over people anymore like you have been hearing on our scanner feeds. And number 3, and this is a big one too, you won't miss anything, because when this guy's yelling over here or something going on, this guy over here is running a tag, and he's going to have the scanner. And so what ends up happening is you end up missing the important traffic, while something that's not very important is actually on the scanner at that time. And so this eliminates that, because you get to hear both, because it recorded both and it will play back both. This is going to revolutionize the way we listen to scanners. I'm not just saying that, I'm telling you guys this, and we're going to make this available as donationware, I'm pretty sure, once we get it going. But this is really going to, this is cool. This is the first software I've ever developed from the ground up, and it's amazing software. The guy I'm working with is very smart. He's Jake, the guy that produces at work with me. He's a co-worker at the radio station, and we are building this thing to be very adaptive at basically the way that it monitors and the way that it, get this, what's the biggest problem we have on the scanners besides those 3 things I just mentioned? What's the 4th biggest problem? Anybody want to guess? I'll tell you. I'll make it easy. Here it is. Audio volume. One guy will be like, engine 2, I'm on scene in a 2-story building, nothing showing. And then the next guy's, 1235 Lee County, I need it. It's like, oh my God. And it's just too much. One is really high and one is really low, and you keep getting scared by the guy yelling. We have added normalization processing to the program. So in other words, everything will come out now at the same volume. Every single scanner will produce at the same volume. So I think this is great. I think it's amazing. I really do. Hey, if you guys were local, I would invite you here to produce with me. We would do shows together. It's just, unfortunately, I don't think anybody's local. Anyway, long story short, this program is going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's going to be a great, the volume thing is going to be amazing. And the other thing that it does is it tells you on the screen who you're listening to. And I think that's really important. So that you know, it'll say Baltimore North, Baltimore South, Baltimore citywide. And you know, that way you know what channel you're listening to. And then we're breaking it down. Each big city will get its own channel. And we will have a live stream going out that'll have the aircraft tracker, and it will have a lot of things on it. Here, I can even demonstrate a little bit here. The way it works is, you can go there and put it on and just listen to the scanner feed now. You don't have to have headphones, and it's not a big confusing mess anymore. Some people liked the way we were doing it, and other people were like, I can't really listen to it. It's just too much. And I get that. I understand. And so here we go. I'm gonna put this on so you can hear it as soon as the ad quits playing. What this basically is each of our feeds is going to basically look something like this. Hold on, let me get the left screen up and get it centered here. Yeah, here's what it looks like, and here's what it sounds
10
like.
4. 6602, what's he wearing?
All right, give me another
All right,
description one
this
more
is
time.
what
You got
our
white t-shirt,
Chicago
black
scanner
black,
sounds
got
like.
black
This has
jeans,
been
a
up
black
5
t-shirt.
days without
Got a
interruption.
black book bag.
And this is what it looks like if you're
How's
watching.
it there? Short haircut, dreads. What is it?
It's like, short medium, I don't know.
All right, short haircut, guys. Short haircut, male, black short haircut, black shirt, black jeans, black book bag, wearing all black. He last seen going eastbound 76 and Vincent. He was hopping the fences over there.
Say
Say it one more time. It's echo.
what's the color again? 1122 for info.
Black pants, black shirt.
Individual.
All right, so in other words, you can see there, you can actually see when each zone comes up, which zone you're listening to. In the other ones, it doesn't say zone 10 or whatever. It in some of them, it'll actually say like Harbor District, Sino District, North Central. And so it kind of gives you an idea of where you're listening to. And then, of course, we've got the levels and the gauges and all that stuff. And that is a live flight tracker. You can see the police helicopters there near downtown. And here it's gonna rollerball on me while I'm trying to show you. But anyway, the point is it's not doing that on the feed. It's doing that because I'm trying to show it on the screen capture. Let's see here. Let's go back to here. There we go. All right. So anyway, that's what it looks like, and then let's go back to the main grid. We're looking to add those feeds for a bunch of towns, and we're going to do like when the brush fires are going on, like right now in California. Well, we're going to devote, if I can get this working. Like I said, we're still in beta testing. I've stopped now because we're doing another improvement to it. We've had an issue and we're doing an improvement to it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have one of those for each of those 2 big brush fires, and then we'll probably have 3 or 4 big cities up. And then that's all done with all these other computers, and then this computer is the one that I do my lives on. I'm building supercomputers for all of them, but right now I'm using HP mini desk computers. They're Ryzen 5s, and they're working. They're getting us by. But we've already built 2 machines, and we're going to be slowly replacing these, or at least building new machines that are like this one here is a 12 core, and it's just an amazing system. It was built for high-end gaming, and I don't game on it, but that's what it was built for. All right, yeah, so dinner, there you go. I haven't ate dinner yet. I had a late lunch though. I had some taco seasoning mix and some ground beef left, and so I had 5 shells, so I made me some tacos. It was good. I had plenty of Taco Bell seasoning to still go. I love the Taco Bell sauce, so I get a few extras, so I always have a few of them for when I do my tacos at home. Let's see here. I don't like sloppy joes because they put onions in them. Why must they put onions in everything? I don't eat onions. I don't like to crunch into something when I'm eating. Ugh. And I don't mind the flavor of onions. You can cook a steak in onions, and I'll eat it. I love it. But I don't want the onions. I would scrape them all off. And sloppy joes, I've never liked sloppy joes because they always are it's always full of onions. Yeah, I do fresh ground beef. I buy a 2.5 pound pack a week, and I usually am out of it by 3 or 4 days in. And then I got a couple rolls of those frozen ones in there. I'll use those if I had to. You can use those too and chop them up and make tacos out of them. You can do whatever you want with them. It's just ground beef. Yeah, so there you go. All right, let me get, we're still watching this area here on the radar, so I'll leave that up there. And let me go back over to here. Flash flooding in Wisconsin at the state fair. This is something that happened last night. Milwaukee experienced up to 14 inches of rain in a very short span of time, with some areas receiving over a foot of rainfall. The deluge prompted a state of emergency in Milwaukee County. The Wisconsin State Fair was canceled, including the final day, due to rapidly rising floodwaters that made conditions unsafe for attendees and for the infrastructure. Remember, fair rides are temporary. And we dealt with this down here, when you get a lot of rain, it can destabilize these rides. And you got to be real careful. Yes, ground beef is pricey. It's one of those things I spend money on. I don't buy the ribeye steak, which is what I really wanted. Let's see here. Fairgoers were forced to wade through waist-high water, with some vehicles submerged or floating freely. Emergency personnel worked to rescue stranded visitors amid life-threatening conditions. Massive disruptions on roads, widespread power outages affecting nearly 18,000 households, and more than 600 emergency calls were logged, many involving flooding basements, gas leaks, and water rescues. The headline Lynyrd Skynyrd concert was canceled. That sucks. I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. That's Southern rock right there. It was canceled, and various fair-supported events were scrubbed as safety took priority. Although the flooding at the Wisconsin State Fair was dramatic and traumatic, with life-threatening conditions, widespread damage, last-minute cancellations, there have been no official reports of deaths linked to this incident, any of the flooding at the fairgrounds or anywhere else. And so that's the good news, guys. We can have something like a fair just got washed out by a flood and nobody got killed. That's a win. You put that in the W column. There is a few flooding related fatalities that were not at the fairgrounds, so I do have to report that. There was flood related fatalities elsewhere in the state, it says. Okay, so there you go. That's the latest on that situation. Let's see what we got here. The next thing I want to talk about is the Canyon Fire. As you guys know, we were covering that on Friday night. It got really bad Friday night. It ignited back on the 7th, and it got really bad anyway. And it's near Halster Cannon Road. It's this is in LA. This is just northeast of Santa Clarita. This fire has seen explosive, rapid growth. It started as a 30-acre blaze and surged to over 1,000 in 2 hours. It expanded to nearly 5,000 to 5,300 acres by the next day. As of August 10th, the fire had burned about 5,370 acres and was 62% contained. Mandatory evacuation orders remain in effect. Roughly 2,700 people in 700 structures fall under these mandatory advisories. Warnings have been issued for the potential to have to evacuate at a moment's notice for another 14,000 residents and 4,700 structures in the affected area. And that was all lifted as of late yesterday. So that's good. That's good. This one seems to be getting more under control. And the area of this one that's not under control yet is in areas where it's not really threatening homes at this point. So Ventura and Los Angeles County Fire Departments have entered into a unified command, and they are deploying strike teams, dozers, engines, hand crews, and air tankers on the fire. The firefighting effort has involved about 400 firefighters, supported by aircraft and aerial units. The weather has been a challenge with temperatures near 100 degrees, extremely low humidity, drought-stressed brush, and rugged terrain all contributed to the fire's rapid spread and complex behavior. No civilian injuries or homes were reported lost in this fire. However, 3 firefighters were injured and at least 2 outbuildings were destroyed. That's not bad. I mean, I hate to hear them guys getting hurt, but they'll be all right. I got to tell you, that's not bad. That's not bad. Nobody lost their home. Nobody lost their life. That's a W. Another W for the win column. All right, let's see here. Smoke from the fire is triggering health issues. An emergency proclamation was issued by the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors for this fire, and this fire is burning concurrently with a much larger fire called the Gifford Fire, which is now the largest wildfire in California so far in 2025. And so there you go on that, the Gifford Fire. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, so let's talk about the Gifford Fire. That one there's a much bigger fire. This is a big incident. I'm going to show you this one on the map because this is this one's a big deal. Oh shit, where's my map? There we go. I got up a heat map because I've been using this to try to keep an eye on these fires and which ones are burning where. The Canyon Fire is showing cold right now. I'm going to show you this map, and then I'm going to pull up the other map here in just a minute. This is the Canyon Fire, and you can see here that it never quite made it to the highway. They got it stopped. It got up in this valley here and kind of stopped. There is no hot spots. Now, if we zoom out and we move over here, over to this fire, look at all the hot spots that are popping up on this fire. These are satellite indicated hot spots. This is the Gifford Fire. All right, and this is currently the Gifford Fire. It's 65,000 acres, currently 33% contained, and it's been burning for 10 days. And every one of these is a heat signature being picked up from space. So that's telling you right there that this is where this fire is actively burning right now. All right, give me just a second here to get up the other map. My other map disappeared on me. All right, this is the CAL FIRE map. I'll get it up for you in just a second. This is the CAL FIRE map to give you. This gives you more information than that other one. Just basically is the hot spots. This one really, and I'm going to pull it up. Give me 1 second. This one is going to really show you the difference because this one still has a lot of mandatory evacuations. All right, here we go. Again, this is. There we go. This is the Gifford Fire. You can see areas within the red line that are orange have burned. Areas that are in that weird pink color are mandatory evacuations. Areas in the yellow color are voluntary evacuations or standby. They're on standby to evacuate. And you can see there's a number of choppers up here working too. They actually show these on the map when it pulls up. It's pretty cool. All right, so but this shows you everything you need to know there. But again, I think this is all. I think I've said all of this. This is actually located completely inside San Luis Obispo County, and well, it says and Santa Barbara County. So I guess it has passed another county line here. and it's on Highway 166 northeast of Santa Maria. And according to this, 118,000 acres have burned, currently 33% contained. And that is what we have. What details does it give? Oh, I guess it's just the same map again. Government websites, I swear to God. It's like, who designed this? You know, anybody that's good at designing websites ends up working in the private sector and making better money. The people that build government websites, they just suck so bad. They just suck wind, every one of them. Yeah, I could only imagine. There's been a lot of smoke with this. The hurricanes are about to start, and we're going to do that next. We're going to go to our tropics next, and I'm going to talk about a system and another system and another system that are going to train all through the intertropical convergence. So we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. And I just want to mention real quick here that there is a number of fires in California. It's not just these. There's actually some bigger fires up here in Northern California as well, and then some more down here. Why is it not showing me all the fires now? It's showing them, but it's just showing the outlines and not the. But there is. You can see there's other fires. But look at this massive fire. I mean, this thing is 10 times bigger than any other fire that they've even thought about here. It's just huge. And if I can get that scanner tech going in the next day or so, I am going to be covering this with scanners. Although there's not as many scanners for this one as there is the LA one, because there's not as many scanners being broadcast out of that, St. Louis Obispo County, as there is LA County and Ventura County, which is where the Canyon fire was located. So there you go. Let's get back to the grid. Thank you for being here, everybody. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and I do thank everyone for being here tonight. We are live tonight from here in Starship Studios here in North Fort Myers or Southwest Florida, whatever you want to call it, down here in the tropics. We're dangling down here, taking the hurricanes so you don't have to. Yeah, we're the country's Wang, if you will. Yeah. Yeah, the Canada has had a hell of a year for brush fires as well. It's not just us. They're having a hell of a year up there for brush fires, and so there you go with that. Let's go ahead now and set up for the tropics. Let me get that going. Our tropic advisory, as always, is powered by Mike's weather page. If you guys want the best, the very best information on hurricanes, you definitely want to go to Mike's weather page. He does not pay me for this endorsement. This is a real endorsement because I do it of my own volition. There's his link. He's got a show he does in the morning on YouTube called Strange Brew or something. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, that was a Canadian movie. That was a good one, too. Rick Moranis, you remember that? Oh, it was bad. It was a horrible movie, but it was fun. Anyway, he does a thing in the morning that's like the Tropical Brew or whatever, and he talks about storms, and I actually go in and try to catch some of him in the morning, and I'll run it back to when he's talking about what I want to hear. But hey, Carlotta, thanks for being here tonight. Yeah, we're experiencing a weird thing in here where some people's names are coming up wrong. I don't know. It's kind of a YouTube screw up tonight or something. We're not sure what's going on. Anyway, so there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at the tropics here because that's the next thing we got to talk about. And let's see here. I got so many of these screens, I'm starting to lose track of them all. All right, this comes from the National Hurricane Center, and this is the National Hurricane Center's forecast. And you can see here we've got two storms on here. Now, there has been something. Let me get up my Epic Pen Telestrator, which, by the way, I really love. I might have to pay for it, though. That's the only bad thing. But I will, if that's what I got to do. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. It took a minute. Okay, so I got my telestrator up now. Now, this storm here, it's out. It's gone. It ain't going to be nothing for nobody to worry about. Nothing at all. This one here was looking really dangerous a day ago. But this high, this Bermuda high, is not building in as strong as we thought it would. We were thinking by now this high would be moving back in, and it's not happening. So because of this high staying recessed up here a little bit further than normal, that's allowing storms to turn like this, and that's what this one's going to do. And that's what this one's doing. They're turning around this high because high pressure spins like that. And so as long as this high is receded back up here past the islands, way up here, this allows our storms to turn away from the United States before they get here. And we thought this high was going to move back into where it would normally be, a Bermuda high sitting right here, just to the east of Bermuda. That's Bermuda right there. This Bermuda high sits out here in the middle of the ocean, and it is what pushes our storms down. It pushes them down like this, and it makes them hit the United States. So that Bermuda high is what's responsible for all the damage. I'm just kidding. So why it looks pretty good right now, right? I mean, the high's receding, and this one's starting to look like it's wanting to take a slightly northerly turn, and it is. And as we look at the long-range forecasting on this one, it does look like it's going to do this, and it does look like it's going to stay a fish storm. There's a real chance that this one stays a fish storm. This one for sure is a fish storm. The last one is all the way up here now, and it's obviously a fish storm as well. However, this is where we have to start talking about what's going to happen next. So let's go. Let me turn off my telestrator. I'm still getting used to this thing. Okay, so let's go back to Mike's weather page. All right, there's Mike. That's Mike and his daughter right there. I like Mike. I've never actually met him. I've emailed back and forth to him a bunch, but I've never actually met Mike. But if he ever comes here, I'm going to go try to meet him because he's a great guy. He's just like me. He started this thing a long time ago, and he's been just going at it for years, and he's successful, and he's doing what he loves, and he's feeding his family with it, and I just absolutely love that. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, and that's my motto. I was a firefighter, I was a cop, I was an emergency manager, and then I got into some jobs I didn't like, so I went and got into broadcasting, which is another thing I wanted to do. I just hate jobs that are boring or that I don't enjoy, so yeah, that's what I do. I like to try to always find something. This is the current model thinking, but notice when we get into the longer range models, they almost all have this turn. If you look at it, they're all going to go that way. I don't think this is going to pose a threat to the United States. I don't see this one as a threat to the United States. But what else is out there? Oh, by the way, it's going to be a big storm. You guys know how to read this one, right? This is intensity guidance, and what this basically shows us is the timing is on the bottom. This is 48 hours. This is 72 hours and 96 hours. So here we go. This is out 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4 days right here at this third line I put in. So in 4 days, 2 of the models have this as a minimal tropical storm. 3 of them have this as a strong tropical storm. And then about 7 of them have it as a Cat 1. And there's one there that even has it as a Cat 2 by then. But look at this right here. Some of these models that thought that it was going to stay pretty weak at first have gotten very aggressive here towards the end. Look at this. That's Cat 4. So they're saying that out 5 days, we could be looking at a Cat 4. So this could be our first, not only our first hurricane of the season, but this very easily could be our first major storm of the season too, even though I don't think it's going to hurt anybody. Now, let's go look at the future. Okay, let's take a look at the future. So this is this. I'm going to leave it in full screen because there's a lot going on and we need to see everything. This is climatology. This is the GFS model. Okay, and this is basically based on 1981 to 2010 climatology. These models are the same models we've been using, and every year they hone them and they work on them. GFS is a good model. The Euro was the best model up till 2 years ago, and then they ruined it. I don't know what they did. All right, so let's take a look at this. This one right now is one of the better performing models, and let's run it forward. Now, I want you to notice before I even run it forward what we're looking at here. This is that yellow blob. That's the red blob. This one's not on the map yet, and that's the one we're going to be talking about. By the way, this is Tropical Storm Dexter or whatever it was. Okay, so those are our 4 systems that we're looking at. Remember, we're talking, there's that high pressure. Remember I was telling you about the high being way out here? When that high gets too far north or too far east, it allows these storms to come up and escape. And that's what it's done. It's pulled up here. It's pulled up here to the northeast. And now, instead of pushing these storms down, it's letting them ride up and go out and not hit the United States. And that's that's literally what's going on right now. This high is going to build back in down towards Bermuda next week. And as that happens, this one is going to escape. This one I don't think is going to escape. So this is where we start talking about, I'm talking about 15 days from now. Please do not start planning anything based on what I'm about to tell you. But I do want to analyze this. I want to run this forward. Let's see what the models think this thing's going to do. All right, here we go. Let's move forward. You guys can see the date right up here in the top. You see where I'm pointing right there? Sunday, August 10th. That's right now. There you go. And we're going to move forward in time. All right, here we go. And as we move forward in time, look what happens down here to our system down in the intertropical. Notice it's moving almost dead west. It's holding a lateral line, ladies and gentlemen. A lateral line. It does drift a little north there. The high is still not completely in place. So you can see here, this high needs to be more over here to completely trap it. So a lot of it's going to matter where this high is. Is it going to be there? Is it going to be there? That's going to make a big difference. But as this comes up here, I want you to notice the high begins to move. And as that happens, it begins to push the storm back off to the west. Okay, so let's watch for that to happen now as we go back and we erase that and hit this, and then we keep going forward. So what happens to it? What happens? It looks like it lets it escape. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Another one gets by. So this model is now showing that another one gets by. And it shows some low pressure forming off the outer banks there. Nothing to worry about. And that's pretty much it. But these models have been all over the place, guys. So that's what we're looking for, is what happens to these storms when they come across the intertropical. Well, let's go and let's look at another model. So when we go to Mike's weather page, we go up here to the top to here, and see up here it says GFS Euro. Let's go to the Euro. Let's see what the Euro wants to do with this thing. All right, here we go. Same thing. Here's the Euro. Let's move forward in time. Here it comes across the intertropical, holding a lateral line. And it does start to drift north here. That high kind of pulls off again. It's not really stable over there. And that's as far out as this model goes. So not really too much we can glean off of that. But it is still showing it to not be a Florida storm. And even where this model is showing more of that same twist again. So that could be good news. Let's run one more here. What this is showing us, though, these models are all showing genesis of big hurricanes. What that means is, yeah, they're not showing hurricanes that are hitting us, but they're showing that the juice is out there now for hurricanes. All right, here we go. This is the CMC. This is another decent performing model. Here we go, holding a lateral line across the intertropical, and uh-oh, it didn't turn north. All right, there we go, a little bit of a northerly component, and that one takes it a lot closer to the coast. This one tends to want to bring that high pressure instead of out here. It's moved the high pressure back up here into Canada. So that's interesting. And that, again, has caused this thing to make a fairly sharp turn back out to sea. What if that high is a little lower than they think? This thing ends up going right into the mainland like that. So this is one, of course, we're going to have to watch because, yeah. Okay, any other questions on the tropics? Please throw them into there. I'm going to show you, while I'm waiting to see if you guys have anything, I'm going to show you a couple of features on Mike's weather page. This right here is his show. You can click that and you can see his latest show right here. It doesn't full screen. I don't know why. It drives me nuts. So what I do, just so you guys can see, I click this YouTube tab right here and it brings me to his YouTube channel, and then I can watch his show. And here, this is his show. He's sponsored by ABC Liquor. Dude, if you're gonna do a show about hurricanes ripping shit up, you got to be sponsored by ABC Liquor or maybe a marijuana dispensary. I don't know, but yeah, you got to do something like that. But yeah, he goes through all the maps. He does the same thing I does. He draws all over the screen. But yeah, Mike's weather page, that's right there. Just click the YouTube link right there on the player, and you'll be able to watch that. He always, the first column is always the same. This is all of his same information that's always there. The second column is all of the active storms. This is Invest 97, and you can see he's got all the, you can click on any of these images to see the latest satellite images or whatever you want. Every one of his things here is a direct link to that information so that you can go get it directly. That's why I like him. There's no bullshit 50 pages you got to go through. There it is. Boom, you click on it. There's all your ensembles right there. There's all your ensembles right there. And if I could be so nerdy here to show you something, can you guys see that? What happened to my dot? I think I hit my dot by accident. Look at this. You guys see where I'm at over there? We got 3 or 4 model runs here that actually show a Florida interaction. And then we also have some here that show an Outer Banks interaction. And I want you to note something. The color of these lines means something. If it's pink or light pink, that's a 4 or a 5 hurricane. If it's red, that's a 3. So you guys can kind of judge it from that. I mean, that's kind of, it's not like a stone thing. You know, these are just guesses, of course. But you start looking, when you see them with that light pink, my God, it keeps changing my circle size. I don't know why it's doing that to me. Hold on just a second, guys. Let me grab this real quick. I don't normally do that, but it's my mom. All right, there we go. Sorry, guys. I don't answer my friends and stuff when I'm on the air. I'm talking to my friends here on the air. But that's mom. Mom's 80 years old. You answer when mom calls. All right, so let's see, what do we got here? Hey, Ding Ding. I don't think I said hi to you yet. Hello. Hello, Victor. I did say hi to Carlotta. Hello, Carlotta. Hello, everybody tonight. And of course, Galactic and all you guys. I really appreciate y'all coming in. And Aquarius, regardless of what you call yourself. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's get back up here and let me make sure I've got everything covered on the tropics. All right, so I think I do. I think we got everything covered on the tropics, guys. The next thing we're going to talk about, is there any questions on tropics? I'm taking questions on tropics. Any questions on the tropics? Right now, if I had to like do the whole tropical crystal ball thing, we're good for 15 days. But I'm going to tell you guys, when we get out about 12, 13, 14 days, it's starting to get choppy out there. So we are in season now. And the models are starting to show genesis, which means they're showing things forming into big hurricanes now. Where just 2 weeks ago, even a week ago, the models were showing no genesis anywhere. So this is kind of something that you know, tends to lead me to believe that things are really looking up. I mean, they're really getting busy out there. All right, the next thing I wanted to look up, we had some more seismic activity today over on the Russian peninsula. And this is concerning because, as you guys know, we had this big 8.8 back on the 29th of July. And that caused that big tsunami warning that we saw all across everywhere. And yesterday, there was nothing. This was completely quiet for 24 hours. And then today, all those pink ones popped up. And we've got some 5.2s in here. We got a 5.3 over here and some 4.6s down here. So, I mean, you know, this is still an active region. And the possibility of us getting yet another tsunami type situation is probably a much higher than normal chance right now, because we are still seeing activity here on the Russian peninsula. And so I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. Let's take a look at the entire Pacific Rim. Ones that are just recently are purple. Ones in the last 24 to 36 hours are pink. And then orange is in the last 2 weeks. And then the yellow shows you the last 5 years worth of history. So there you go. Doesn't look like that big of stuff. We've got a 4.1 in Turkey. We had a 4.6 north of Australia. You like how if I don't know how to pronounce it, I find a way to say it some other way. Yeah, here we go. And there's one here in North Africa. Or no, I'm sorry, South America, in Colombia. So there we go. That's what we've got. Not a lot. You can see that one really big one right there. Quakes don't normally happen that big. And there you go. That's our seismic monitor for tonight. And that's what we've got. Nothing really big going on tonight. But we do still see all that rumbling going on there in the peninsula there in eastern Russia. All right. Anything on the tropics or anything in on that? Go ahead and throw it in the chat room. Yep. I'm just glad to get a car. You know, I did something I'm going to tell you guys. When I go looking for cars, it's a huge pain in the ass. It takes weeks. I smell 50,000 dipsticks, and I get really sick of it. I hate it. And I told the universe this time, hey, universe, I'm on a first name with the universe. I said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I don't want to go through this. So I'm going to look up Facebook Marketplace, and I want you to just tell me which car to buy. I know that sounds stupid, but I just went on Facebook Marketplace and just started looking at cars. I know how much I had in my pocket. I knew what I could spend. And so I literally went on Facebook and this vehicle kept popping up. It's not the one I bought, but hear me out. These vehicles kept popping up. And I kept thinking, where's this place at? I don't know where this place is at. And I'm like, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. And so finally, I went to get out of that window, and it locked up on that page that showed me this car lot and where it was located. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's weird. And it's 1 block from my work. It's literally, there's a gas station between my work and this car lot. What are the odds? I mean, there's 130 car lots in this county. And so I said, you know what? That's it. I stopped looking. I said, I'm going to drive over there and just buy a car from these people. And I did. I walked in. I walked up to the sales guy. I said, hey, I got cash. Let's do it. He goes, really? I said, yep. Show me cars. And I walked out there, and he goes, how much do you got? I told him. He pointed, that one, that one, that one, or that one. I can put you in that flat out the door. I said, all right. And I walked over, I looked, and there's a Hyundai Sonata. I had a Hyundai Sonata. That's the best car I ever owned. And I said, oh, geez, and it's silver too. I prefer silver over all other colors because it reflects heat and it doesn't show dirt. It's just the best color to have a car. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, it's great. I mean, it's a 2011. It's not a new car. I'm paying cash. I mean, I had to buy. I will not pay insurance. Insurance is a scam, and I won't pay for it. So I buy my cars cash. I will save up for a year if I have to. I will not bill my clients for 3 or 4 months, so that when I need the money, I do everything, I bill everything, I cash in everything, and I take thousands of dollars and I walk and I wave it in front of their face like this, and they rip my arm off. They were wanting $7,200 for this car. I got it for $5,000. And it's because cash, it has a smell. It makes salespeople do things they don't want to do. And there's no such thing as coincidence. You're absolutely correct. And I do believe in causality. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I walked in there, I sat down in that car, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this car. I just love this car. It's my car. It's got LED headlights, which I've never owned a car with LED freaking headlights. And I'm like, I'm so sick of being the weak asshole on the road. I want to have the good headlights for a change. My eyes are getting worse. And I'm telling you, those LED headlights, I drove a company car for a while at night with LED headlights. Once you get used to those things, it's hard to go back to regular headlights. I know sometimes they're bright for oncoming, and that's usually people that have put conversion kits and stuff in. The factory ones are really good about not blinding oncoming traffic. Cash in hand talks. You walk in and you literally wave it around while you're talking to them. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. I did show him I had it right off the bat. I mean, I'm straight up with these people. And he put a tag on it. He goes, take it for a drive. You can keep it for an hour if you need to. I said, nope, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I drove it down the road, drove it back, checked a bunch of stuff, looked up underneath it, smelled the oil, checked the transmission fluid. I did all the usual stuff. Sounds good. Air was good. I told him, I said, I walked back in like 10 minutes after I took it out. I walked back in and I said, let's do the deal. How long is it going to take you to get the paperwork done? He goes, we got this new program. It's quick. He did my registration and everything. It was awesome. So he re-registered my tag and everything, and I drove out of there 30 minutes later with a new car for me anyway. The emergency vehicles. I don't know if you're talking about the emergency vehicle blue lights, because I can sure talk about those too. I believe that we've reached a point of ridiculousness with emergency lights. I've got that little light I bought for my car. I purposely didn't buy the really bright one because I don't need it. I just need you to not hit my ass when I stop on the side of the road. The blue headlights, they're some of them. I'm going to tell you what it is. If you buy a car that has the proper optics and the proper bulb, the factory bulb, that assembly was approved by not only the people who made its company, but by the United States of America in order for it to be able to be sold here. So we know that light is good. Those lights have an extreme cutoff point, which puts the light down the road, but not up in people's eyes. And because of that, sometimes if they're off direction just a little bit, if they're up or down a little bit, you can blind people with them. But the worst part is people that have regular headlights and they go and buy the HID or LED. HID is high energy discharge, LED is light emitting diode. They'll take these aftermarket lights that used to be $150. Now you can get the LED replacements for like $20 a pop. You stick them in there. Now you've got these really bright white headlights, but the problem is your bucket, your headlight reflector inside was not meant to work with LED lights. And when you put a bulb in there that's literally twice as bright and the light comes out of it in a slightly different pattern than what the parabolic reflector was designed to reflect, you end up scattering light all over God and creation. And when you do that, you blind everybody. Aftermarket LED and HID headlights are shit. I don't ever say outlaw them because I'm a libertarian, but I don't like them, and I think people should consider not using them. Mr. Potato Head, that's a good one. I haven't been called that before, but hey, there you go. One of the more successful toys from the 70s and 80s. Very successful toy there. I've been called about everything this week, so that's cool. I'll add that to the list. Junior, Florida has a law that you have to use SAE approved lighting equipment. However, our cops don't know how to enforce that. And I'm sure that if your headlights are just blinding everybody, they can pull you over and they can write you a ticket because they've been modified. I think that's what you're thinking of. If you modify your exhaust and it's way too loud, they can write you a ticket for that. If you modify your headlights and now they shine in people's eyes, they can write you a ticket because it has to be an SAE certified lighting device. Even secondary lights like you buy at Walmart have a basic SAE rating. They have to have some kind of basic rating. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Potato Head. No, I agree. He was great because you could switch his mood in mere seconds. It could have been a lot of times a car will get wrecked, and one of the headlights when they fix the car and they put the headlight back, it's slightly too high, and you'll blind people. It's the old headlights. You had some play. They weren't all that bright. These new ones are so bright that if the light goes in the wrong place, you'll literally run people off the road. So yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. Again, though, I'm a libertarian. I don't believe in new laws for every little thing that comes down the pipe. But I also was a safety officer for a fire department for a while, and I trust me, I'm on a first name basis with safety. I get it. I understand it. And now that my eyes are getting older, it's a real bitch to look into those bright lights. I mentioned the emergency vehicles. It's getting to the point where I pass an emergency scene at night and there's an ambulance and 2 fire trucks and 17 cop cars there because cops have to have at least 17 of them now to do anything. When I was a cop, we weren't allowed to be more than 2 on a call unless it was a major incident. When they wouldn't even let more than 2 of us eat at Denny's at a time because they wanted to keep us spread out. Now, 17 of them show up for a traffic crash. Anyway, the point is when you pull up and all you see is the red and blue lights, it's tough. And I'll tell you why the blue hurts more than the red. Your rads and your cones in your eyes. Your eyes are designed to see different things during the day than they are at night. Okay? That's why if you have lights in your bedroom like a night light, it should be red. It should be dim red and down on the ground. And that way it doesn't destroy your night vision. When you get up, if you've got a little dim red light in the corner, that will not disrupt your night vision. A lot of people have LED blue night lights. That blue completely destroys your night. I got one up at the cabin. I really need to quit using it. I need to move it out and put it in the shed or something. Because that blue light, the moment you go into the bathroom and you see that blue night light, it just wipes out the carotene or whatever in your eyes, and it adjusts, your eyes adjust for daytime basically. And it's just, it's damaging. At the fire department, we actually installed can lights in the hallways, in the day room, in the bunk room, and in the bathrooms. And at night, like in the bathroom, we just had a red light that stayed on in the bathroom at night. And that way, if you got up to piss in the middle of the night, you walk in the bathroom, the light's on in there, but it's a dim red light. You can see, you know, you don't miss the bowl, but yet you go back to bed, your eyes aren't destroyed. When I first started as a firefighter, we get a call in the middle of the night. We'd run out in the bay and flip on these big bright ass lights. And then we'd start the truck up and drive out into the absolute utter darkness. Because our district did not have a lot of street lights. We're pretty rural back then. And it sucked. And so what we did was we put red lights in the bay and red lights in the bunk room and red lights everywhere. And either they stayed on at night, like the ones in the bay and the ones in the bathroom, or they come on when there was a call. The ones in the bunk room would actually come on when there was a call. They go boo, and the light would come on, and that would make sure everybody knows there's a call coming in. It takes people a while to condition up. I want you to think about, if I woke you out of a dead sleep right now, and you had to run outside, get dressed in gear, jump in a truck, start it up, and drive in 60 seconds. The last thing you want to be worried about is your eyes adjusting for the dark. And so the whole purpose for this discussion is just to remember that dim red lights will not destroy your night vision. Blue and green lights will. You don't want to use any blue and green lights at night if your purpose is to be able to still see at night. Even red flashlights at night work good because you can light the woods up if you need to see something, but then when you turn the flashlight back off, your night vision is still there because the night vision stays as long as there's no green and blue. Your eyes are very sensitive to green and blue at night, and they're very sensitive to red during the day. Another one, our trooper cars down here, Florida State Trooper, the old tan and blacks, they have LED light bars on the roof. They're red during the day. They're blue at night. Now, most of the troopers have switched out a few of the middle ones so that there's still some of the other color up there. But when they were originally put out, during the day, there's a sensor in the light bar. If the light bar senses that the sun was up, the lights would be completely red all the way across. Because in Florida, you have to pull over for red or blue lights. It doesn't matter what color, red or blue. So the lights would be red. And then it's great because right at dark, right when the sun's going down, the lights would switch to all blue. And the reason is because red emergency lights are twice as effective as blue during the day. And blue emergency lights and green are twice as effective as red during the nighttime. Next time you're approaching an accident scene during the day or at night, squint your eyes a little bit. What color are you seeing first? And what you'll find is during the day, you will see red first. You'll see red lights before you will see the blue lights. At night, it's the exact opposite. You will see the blue lights up in the horizon, up in the sky flashing before you see anything red. I'm a pure turd. You know, if you're going to be a turd, I definitely suggest being a pure turd. So there you go. I love when people that don't put in the work come in here and criticize someone who is putting in the work. But hey, it's free chat room. Have fun with that. If you get too nasty, we'll just kick you out. All right, so there you go. You can call me names all you want. Okay? If the channel was a turd, I wouldn't have 17,000 subscribers. So there you go. Come back and see me when the silver plaque's hanging right there. Oh, wow. Galactic, I've heard folks that have had that. God, if I had to sleep sitting up, I don't think I could do it. Even when I was in the hospital with my gallbladder attack and all that, I still had to flatten that bed completely out and lay in the fetal position. It's the only way I could get to sleep. Even in a hospital bed where you would think it would have been more comfortable to sit up and take naps, but no, I had to be in that flat fetal in order to get to sleep. Yeah. Junior, I have not heard of a specific law about that in Florida, but I have not been a cop in 25 years. I was a cop during the first half of my life, not the second half. But I will tell you, I'm not familiar with a law that's been written like that, but it would be covered under the law I spoke about earlier, where you cannot modify your light. It has to be the design that was built for your car, the SAE design. I know, like, people will wreck their car and they'll stick like a fog lamp from Walmart in there or something to replace the headlight. That you can't do that. It has to be the original headlights that came with the car and the original taillights that came with the car. Now, if you take the taillights off and you put two certified SAE taillights on there, you would still be okay, as long as it meets that SAE requirement. Okay, well, good. You know what's funny is, as much as it is a turd, you're sitting here watching it. So are you into turds? I mean, that's the only thing I can figure. Okay. I love the whole troll phenomenon. It really is. Some trolls, it's a mental illness, and they literally just love to hurt people, and they feel good at someone else's expense. And other people, like I said, it's a mental illness where it's just I guess it's all pretty much it's just literally when someone works hard and does something well, and they try very hard to produce something good that people will like, and then people just come and trash them. What does that show you? You know what's funny? These trolls, none of them have a channel. None of them put up any of their own content. They're basically worthless folks that just go around and try to tear down the good things that other people have built. They probably live at home on a government check in their mommy's basement, living on the tit. And all they do for fun is to go and hurt other people that are actually making a living and working hard. Pathetic. But you know what? There's a cure for that. It's called karma. Take two and call me in the morning. I love karma, because karma gets you. She's a bitch. She's going to come get you. I don't care, guys, if they're just calling me stupid names. If they start getting real nasty, I don't care if you get rid of them. I don't care. We're here to have fun. I don't care. You know, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to build a channel. Eventually, I would like to use this for income so I can kind of retire with it. I'm honest about it. But, and the trolls don't bother me. That's why, you know what, I do something, everybody says, you should ignore the trolls. No, I don't. I react to them, but I react in a way they're not expecting. I mean, you know, I could call them names back. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to state the truth. It's a sad existence. They come and they go. I think it's one troll that's got about 5 different screen names, but you guys can tell me what you think. Because that same guy will always put in something like, he's a turd. And then like 9 minutes later, it's never like right away. It's like 9 minutes later, he'll come back with a different screen name and say, yep, it's a turd. It's like, dude, that's pretty obvious, man. You could. This is a small channel. You're being pretty obvious. If you're in a rolling ass chat room with 500 people in it, that you could probably get away with something like that. But yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. I do believe in karma. I do. I believe that if you treat people bad, especially people that treated you good, that creates negative energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it has to be turned back to positive energy again. It's the only way it can be dealt with. And if you're never turning any of your negative energy back into positive energy, then it's a real problem. These guys, a lot of them, they're just like this. They're the same guy that beats their wife and then comes home with flowers and says he's sorry every day. They're the same guy that goes out and literally shits all over anything that's successful. It doesn't matter what it is. The same people that go on Google reviews and make it hard for restaurants and make it hard for small business owners to get things going. Well, Coco B, if you're serious, I mean, I can give you a lot of pointers. This studio is not as expensive as you think. I started with a prefab structure, 12 foot by 14 foot, and I purchased it. It's an unfinished structure, basically, that's a deck and just the outer shell. And I purchased that, and I had it sat in the back of my property and hurricane strapped down. And then I ran over 220 volt electricity to it, and there's no plumbing, there's no water in here, and I built my own furniture. Basically, I built a countertop, and you can see in the thing it goes all the way around, and I built. You can see this countertop here. It looks the same all the way around. It's because it is. I built it. I bought finished wood. And I built this and I painted it black. I got a really high quality paint and I painted it black. Everything in here is painted black. And basically, I use a bunch of different computers. I've got 9 computers. We've got them all almost, wow. We've almost got them all shut off right now because I'm waiting on the new update for this software, and then I'm going to put them all back up again. But we will have a bunch of different things on at one time. We have a bunch of different computers. The other thing is, I also can sit over here and shoot this way, or I can sit over there and shoot that way, or I've got a camera here. I can shoot this way. I can shoot this way. I got a camera back there. I got a camera up there, and I got a camera way back over there that I'm pointing at right now on the bottom. And so I can shoot from any angle. And I can shoot with multiple cameras, So I built this so that it's basically a studio in the round. Yeah. So basically, when I built this, I built it like a studio in the round. And the counter starts at the door, and it ends at the door. It's literally the entire room is an exact counter, and it's only 2 feet deep. It's not a 2.5 or 3 foot deep counter. That's a waste. You don't need all that. And so it leaves it really big in the middle here. And so I can slide around with my chair, and I can access every station in here. I also have 2 different TVs up there that I monitor local news and radar and stuff on. And this is my main computer, has 7 screens here. And then I got all my ham radio equipment over here. It's all hooked up and ready to go. And these are wired in so I can actually play them over the computer if I want to as well. So it's really, and let me give you the key points to this thing, okay? Unless you're, I'm going to tell you something. It's not as expensive as you think. If you've already got a room, you can build the shelves and paint the whole room black. And you can probably do that for $150 or less. Underneath the tables, it's just a 2x4 that's cut on angle, and it's stuck underneath there, and it's screwed in the top and screwed in the bottom, and it's back far enough that we don't hit our knees on it. That's all this is. It's very simple construction. I'm not a carpenter. I built all this myself. And I'm going to give you another big secret about my room here. Every single monitor and television that you see was purchased second hand. I have not for 15 years purchased things new like computer screens because they're readily available everywhere for $5 or $10 or $15. Every screen in here costs between $3 and $30. Every screen. And there's 29 of them. or 26, or you'll have to count. The TVs, all those 32-inch TVs that are all upright, all the everything. I got a big 55 in the back over here. I got a 45 here and a 45 here. Habitat for Humanity, $20 a pop. And then some of them are hanging on the walls like portraits. I just got a big piece of wire in the back like a portrait with the 2 screws. Other ones, I got 3 or 4 that have really nice bracket systems that I was able to find, all at secondhand. I've been buying these brackets for the TVs for $5. They're giving them away. And so this is not that expensive. The umbrella lights, set of those is $40. The colored ones that are lighting up the colors and stuff, those lights, a set of those is $20. The shit is cheap right now. I'm buying those thin client computers. They're called HP mini desks, Rosin 5 HP mini desk. If you type that into Amazon, I'm buying those for $95 a piece, reconditioned, and I've yet to have one fail. I've got 6 of them going right now. They're amazing. So it's not just that I built this studio. I don't have a lot of money. I built it on the cheap because I don't believe in going in the business $100,000 in debt. I could have went out and got a business loan. I could have got a $20,000 business loan. No problem. But then I'm starting $20,000 in the hole. And with YouTube, that's a long way in the hole because it takes years to make money back on YouTube. You have to put in, that's why when people say, oh, look at these guys making, this guy's making $1 million on YouTube. Yeah, he earned it, dude. He's been doing it for 13 or 14 years and he didn't get a cent the first 4 years he was on the air. Not a cent. So you got to look at it that way. When someone makes really big money at the end, there's 1 million people that never made that money because they gave up. But that guy stuck it out and he got the big money at the end. But he worked the 4 or 5 years at the beginning not making anything. You literally give your time and give your money. YouTube didn't pay for this, I did. Now I do have little bits trickling in now and I roll 100% of that, whether it's supers or ad revenue through AdSense. I roll that 100% back into this studio, buying cameras and buying lighting and buying things I need for this studio. So people should understand out there, when it comes to these channels like mine, organic channels, I'm not somebody that put up a lucky post one day or a lucky video that went viral and got 16 million views. And now I have a show because I just vicariously got all these views off this one viral video. Okay? That's not organic. This is an organic channel. I started with myself and 1 subscriber, me. And I built it right from the ground up. And I built the studio from the ground up on property I own. And here's the thing. I have 0 debt when it comes to any of this. No debt. And that allows me to be able to do what I do because I'm not making payments on money that I borrowed. It just makes sense. Just like with my car, I'd rather build it slowly, save up the money slowly, do it slowly, and then when I can, I go big. And that's how I'm doing it now. All right. Anything we want to go back and hit on the news? We had a bunch of news items earlier that I did. I'd be glad to go back and hit them again. I looked for unrest, or I looked for protests and stuff about an hour ago. But let me go back now and go back in and do a YouTube search for protest and check my 2 or 3 video sources here and see if I can find any protests that are going on that we can carry. If you missed it, we did an in-depth on the tropics earlier. We did an in-depth on the California fires earlier, and you can always go back. I leave all of the VCR functions on my videos completely turned on. I have the least restrictions possible on my videos. Nope, it's all reruns of the UK from earlier today. If anybody sees anything, let me know. I do have the Discord up, and you guys make sure that you check out our Discord channel if you haven't. Did you guys see that meteor that hit in Georgia? They say that meteor is old. It's obviously it's from outside our solar system. It's not. It's another outside traveler. I mean, we're getting a lot of this here. It seems lately. There's a dawn conjunction going to be going on from August 11th through the 13th. That's tomorrow and the next day. And it's Venus and Jupiter in the morning. First thing in the morning, they're going to be real close together the next couple days. So you might want to check that out. It's a conjunction of Venus and Jupiter. Try to see which way you got to look, but all right. And it's very bright this time of year. So this time of year, Venus is called the morning star, and it's very bright this time of year because it's closer to us. Remember, all the planets rotate at a different speed, which means there's times where Mars is literally on the other side of the sun and we have solar blackout. There's times where other planets are completely out of our sight. They're on the other side. And there's also times where we're here and they're here and the sun's here. So they're what they call closest pass. And some of these planets are at a fairly close pass right now, so they're going to appear fairly bright. And this is a neat conjunction if you get a chance to go check it out. Let's see what else. Oh, let's talk about Cracker Barrel. Man, come on. What is it with Cracker Barrel now? I got to tell you guys, it really pisses me off when these places, the first thing they do is they try to reinvent themselves. And I really hate that whole mode that these restaurants and businesses get in where, hey, it's not working and we need to somehow make it work. So what are we going to do? And a lot of times when this happens, what they do is what I call, they just simply go and they just repaint everything. And I hate that. And I'm going to put up a few pictures. This is, here we go. This is what Cracker Barrel, this is one of the ones that they kind of changed some. But this is what the new look looks like. Instead of all the odd things hanging around, it's going to be more like this now. And the booths are much more traditional. And they completely changing everything. The lighting, the seating. And the one thing they didn't change, the one thing that Cracker Barrel needed changed more than anything else is the acoustics. They have shit acoustics in these restaurants. And I really wish that they would do something about the acoustics. Anyway, this is another shot of what the new restaurants. Well, see that one does. Yeah, I guess that's the booths over there. Here's another shot. It's very sterile looking. It's not. It's very different than what it was. They've tried to make it look like real wood or whatever. I don't know. I'm not like totally heartbroken, but I just don't like it. I just think that I thought they had more damn pictures in here. Jesus. I guess they haven't taken that many pictures of this place yet. Yeah, I don't think it's sickening or anything like that. I just don't like it. I think it was a waste. They didn't do anything about the acoustics up here in the ceiling. That's been the biggest problem with Cracker Barrel over the years has been the acoustics. Yeah, this is what the new restaurant looks like. These are some pictures of it here. So I mean, it's lighter. Instead of medium gray, they've gone with a beige and a light gray. And whatever. It was country, man. It was cool. I just hate seeing things that are traditional being screwed up because a company is worried about the bottom line. And that's what this is. They've said, oh my God, we're not doing well right now, so we're going to have to do something, and this is what they've come up with. Well, and yeah, comms, that's something that a lot of places have been doing. If you notice, McDonald's has taken the word McDonald's off the sign. It's simply now golden arches with a red bar. Burger King no longer says Burger King on the sign. It's simply a swoosh with a burger coming out of it. There's been a lot of branding stuff. Wendy's has gone through a branding change, not showing Wendy as much as they used to, and going a little more pro on the look. There's been some that, a number of them that have done some kind of branding upgrades lately, and there's others that need to. It is nice that they revert. This does. There is some positives from this. This means the restaurant's going to be new inside. It's going to be brand new. It'll be fresh. The stuff that's been in there, we've been eating on for 30 years. I don't care. It's still in good shape. It's good with me. But whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Here's the thing. They should have worked on the acoustics, number one. Prices, number two. Number one reason I don't go in there is because it's so effing noisy. It's just noisy. You can go to Boise, Idaho, or Naples, Florida. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a noisy ass place in there. People screaming and yelling, noisy as shit, because the way the ceiling is, you've got wonderful traps up there. You've got wonderful acoustical traps up there. And they paint them so that when the sound gets trapped up there, it reflects back down on the people. Where all they would have to do is spray something up there, and they could eliminate all that reverb, and they could get that sound probably down about half of what it is now. They don't give a shit. They didn't do anything about the sound. That's their biggest problem. They did nothing about it. The number two biggest problem, price. They've done nothing about the prices. Prices are the same or more than they were last month. If you want to bring people back, add some value menu stuff. Have a value menu. Get some. They've gotten to the point where you can't eat in there for under $15, $17 a person, and that's just too much for a lot of people now. You can bring all the cornbread you want. That's still a lot of money for a lot of people right now. Things are starting to slowly improve. Finally, after 4 years, inflation has finally stopped. And we're starting to see a neutrality there where we're not seeing large numbers on inflation anymore. But still, it's going to be a while, if ever, before we can afford to just go willy-nilly and go out to eat every night at a place that costs $18 a plate. So that's what they should have done. Second was price. Do something with the price. Reschedule. Reset it up. Your portions are fine. The quality of the food is fine. I happen to find Cracker Barrel to be wonderful food. I find it to be good, and I find the service there is generally good. The people there are generally good. So the two things they needed to work on, price and acoustics, they did nothing with. But they got neat new paint colors and new pictures on the wall. Maybe that'll fix it. I hate that. I don't eat out much anymore, and when I do, I stop by and pick up something cheap like Taco Bell. I got another friend that loves the chicken and dumplings. That's all he frickin' eats there. Yeah, I go eat out a couple times a week with my mom. We eat lunch. Other than that, I don't eat out at all. I don't eat inside any place at all. And I stop by maybe once or twice a week and get Taco Bell and bring it home. Yeah. I just don't understand. They're not changing the name of the place. It's still Cracker Barrel. They say they'll still have biscuits and cornbread. They'll still have checkers out front and rocking chairs, is what they said. Okay. What do you gain by doing this, and what do you lose by doing this? Now, these people know more about this than I do. And you assume this was a good choice and it was a good thing to do. But what you find out a lot of times is no, it was not. It wasn't a good thing to do at all. It was a mess for one reason or another. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We lost our Bourbon Street cam. I don't know what happened there, so I'll get that replaced out. I did look for protest cams, and I see nothing. As big a changes as being made by the administration, I cannot believe that protesting is so small. I can't get over it. I figured after Floyd and some of these other big protests where people were hurt and killed and Target stores burned down and everything, I figured, you know, after the election, I figured, oh my God, because we've become so polarized. The people on the right, they want to be ultra conservative, ultra libertarian, ultra, and the people on the left, they want to be even more ultra everything. They ultra this, ultra that. They're all special interests, LGBTQ, this and that and the other thing. They're all, everything's race, everything's this, everything's that, everything's, social services and all that kind of stuff. So you've got these two parties that have drawn their lines in the sand, and now what's happening is the people on the right are getting further to the right, and the people on the left are getting further to the left. And there's less and less people in the middle seeing eye to eye. And so I thought, because that's been the trend over the last 10 years, I figured after the current president was elected, I figured we were going to see this crazy ass, oh my God, there's going to be this major protesting, fires in the streets, this and that, because he's proposing completely changing the way this country does business. Good or bad, whatever, and I'm not getting into that because I'm not discussing this from a political point of view. But what I am saying is that I'm very surprised that the protesting has been so benign up until now. It really has. And the only thing when you look at the latest polling, I'm very surprised at how much support the current president still has. As big a changes as he's made, he still has over 50% support. It's amazing. And love him or hate him, you have to at least acknowledge the fact that, my God, he's making big changes and he's not getting these big protests. Everybody said that everything was going to burn, and nothing's burning. That's good. That's good. I think it's because when you get right down to it, most people understand when we riot, we end up burning down all the businesses that these Democrats and Republicans built from the ground up. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the groups that are protesting. Maybe it's the whole way it's being thought about or whatever. I don't know what it is. We've seen a lot of peaceful protesting without the anarchist, and that's amazing. Whether I agree with them or not, doesn't matter. I love protesting because protesting is free speech. And if you're protesting something that I vehemently oppose, I still fight for your right to be out there doing it. You have every right to do it, and I can stand next to you with my sign. And the moment one of us tries to stop the other one, we've got a problem. And that's where free speech comes in. Free speech doesn't mean what you do to protect your speech. Free speech means what you do to protect the guy that's against you's speech. That's where the real test is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like what they're doing with Cracker Barrel, but whatever. I'll still probably eat there every now and then. I'm not gonna boycott them or any of that bullshit because they changed their paint color. And we talked about Jim Lovell dying a couple days ago, so I'm not going to go back through that again. He was the guy that Tom Hanks played in Apollo 13, and he was the guy that was in command of that mission that we almost lost. And so the real Jim Lovell just passed away. All right, let's see. I had one other one here. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about the 3i Atlas, the alien Renaissance probe, or is it? You know, it's very rare that we get an interstellar visitor, and when we do, there's always a slight chance that there's more going on here than just a rock flying through our solar system. This is a fairly big rock, and it's a rare event. This was first spotted back in early July by the Atlas telescope in Chile, and that's why it's called the Atlas 3i, because it's the third one, the third interstellar traveler. 3i, 3 interstellar, because it is the third interstellar traveler, and it was discovered by Atlas. So the name tells you everything you need to know, and it follows a hyperbolic orbit that proves it's not gravitationally bound to the sun. This came from outside, from another solar system. Its trajectory, size, and brightness make it a unique find. Estimates suggest it could be up to 20 kilometers across, moving at roughly 37 miles per second. And you think these kids speed on the highway, or about 130,000 miles an hour. I don't think their radar goes up that high. That combination of speed and size makes it the largest interstellar object ever documented by humans. 3i Atlas, also known as the C2025N1, like I said, it's following this interstellar course, basically. As something is in our galaxy, as something in our solar system is hurled away, it goes away. And it goes and goes and goes for 1 year, 100 years, a millennia. And every minute that it's traveling away, the sun is pulling it back just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. These are what comets are. And some of these comets, like Tuttle and some of these, named after the people that found them, some of these will go out so far that they'll find their way to, they'll reach what they call escape velocity. It's rare, and 99% of the time or more, everything that goes away from the sun comes back. That gravity works on it and works on it and works on it and works on it and works on it, unless it's traveling so fast that it reaches escape velocity. Well, that's kind of what happened with this, because this is an interstellar traveler. So it escaped its own gravitational well within its own solar system. And now it's traveling through interstellar space as a rogue, basically. And but here's where it gets interesting. NASA has classified this comet as a comet because it's got a coma. Comas are atmospheres that are caused by the sublux of the, basically as the heat from the, I'm sorry, my brain's going 100 miles an hour. As the heat from the sun impacts the interstellar traveler, okay, you get subluxation. And that's a shrinking in size, okay? As that happens, it off-gasses. Just like when you overcook a hamburger and the smoke's coming off. It off-gasses as it's reducing in size, okay? And as it's off-gassing, it creates, it has a little bit of gravity. It's just big enough to have a little bit of gravity, and it's enough to hold a little bit of that material around itself, and they call that a coma. And then you'll get a tail that stretches back from the coma, okay? That's a typical comet. This is an interstellar comet. The last two didn't get a coma. This one is. So already we've got a once, this is the first time this has ever really happened. There's just something wrong with this one, though. It's anomalous. And here's why. This feature is defying everything the scientists know. We're literally creating science right now because this thing is showing a coma out ahead of the object, which technically is impossible. How's that even happening? What's going on? Is this some kind of interstellar drive that we're not aware of? I mean, this is crazy, really. This is like the shit the TV shows are made of right here now. And anyway, this glow that's forming out ahead of the object now, instead of typically trailing it as a tail. Comets usually shine behind themselves as the sunlight reflects off of the material that's being off-gassed in the tail, okay? All this material's off-gassing. The light that we see is behind the comet, okay? Not this time. The gas being expelled by the sublimation is glowing in front of the comet. It's an unknown phenomenon. They cannot explain why this is. Maybe it's some kind of interstellar drive. Maybe there's some kind of science going on here that we don't understand. Remember, this rock comes from a different solar system that might have different laws of physics themselves, might have different scientific principles. You don't know what's going to be. And so it's kind of one of those weird things where we're making science here, guys. Even more curious is the trajectory that this thing takes. The three-eye atlas is unusually well aligned with the orbits of Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. Something that would occur randomly only about once every 500 cases. Well, we only get these once every 20 years or something right now. So we're talking once every like thousands of years would this be possible. So we're seeing something now that's relatively rare. I mean, it's very, very rare to see not only an interstellar traveler that's putting out a coma, but an interstellar traveler that's has a strange light anomaly where the light seems to be ahead of the thing. And now it's on a very specific course to take it very close to 3 of our planets. It's going to come really close to all 3 planets, with odds of such encounters happening by chances. They say the odds of this happening is 1 in 20,000. And we've only seen 3 of these in our lifetime. So what are the odds? I mean, seriously. That's crazy in itself. Composition and activity. A spectroscopic observation show a reddish coma, suggesting the presence of organic compounds and long-term cosmic ray exposure. Water vapor has been detected even at distances of 3.5 AUs. We were picking that up way out. An AU is 1 astronomical unit. An astronomical unit is the distance between the Earth and the Sun on a standard orbit. Okay? Just like an LD or a lunar distance is the distance between the Earth and the Moon nominally. And so that's how you would be able to determine. So if they say it was 2 or 3 AUs away, that means it was twice as far from the Sun as we are. It was twice as far from us as we are from the Sun. So they were able to see that this was odd, that there was strange things going on. At that location, the ice should have still been frozen. It was too far from the Sun to be off-gassing ice. So, what the hell's going on? This suggests other volatile compounds like carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide could be driving this strange activity. This is getting freakier and freakier as we go, guys. A hypothetical probe, possibly? This scientist named Lieb speculates It's the object's path and behavior could be consistent with a reconnaissance mission, perhaps a craft designed to observe or even deploy small probes towards planetary targets. While highly speculative, such a possibility can't be fully dismissed until more data is collected. This thing's on a course. It's going to take it close enough that it's going to get to scientifically research the other three big planets. I mean, the three planets that, if you're going to want to check out our solar system, you're definitely going to want to check out Jupiter, and you're definitely going to check out Mars, because Mars probably had an atmosphere at one time, and Jupiter's gas giant. And I mean, I don't know. This whole thing just seems way too mystic to me. I don't know. Perhaps a craft designed to observe or even deploy smaller probes down to these planets. Such a possibility can't be dismissed. It's going to reach its closest approach to the sun, which is about 130 million miles, on October 30th of 2025. So in just a few months, we're talking 2.5 months, this thing will be at its closest approach to the sun. It'll remain well outside of Earth's orbit, and a collision with Earth is 100% out of the possibility unless it starts to navigate. I just put that out there. Right now, it's not navigating, it's just flying in a straight line. But sometimes off-gassing can create course changes, but still that wouldn't account for anything that would threaten us. So unless it's a spaceship or something that's going to actually change course, we're out of the woods. This is nothing we have to worry about, which is good, because the speed it's traveling, it could be an end of the world type event. Space-based telescopes, and also like the Hubble and the James Webb Space Telescope, are continuing to monitor this. They've got a lot of time they've taken from other things in order to research this interstellar traveler. Some researchers are advocating for a spacecraft interception, potentially using existing assets like NASA's Juno probe for a flyby near Jupiter in 26. Okay. If we got any asset that we can pull off of what it's doing and send to go check this thing out, yes, dispatch it immediately. We need to know what this is, and we need a close flyby. Even if it doesn't have the right stuff on it, if it can take pictures, I'm happy with that. Interstellar objects are snapshots of other planetary systems. Like I said, it could have chemicals that are not on our periodic table yet. It could have life that we've never heard of. It could have the remnants of that life that still exists somehow. It could simply just be made of compounds we've never seen before. It could revolutionize science if we could get a hold of it. Landing on it, capturing it, I know we're not going to be able to do any of that kind of bullshit. It would take every rocket we have, burning every bit of fuel it has, and we still couldn't slow this thing down enough to capture it. Intercepting it, well, that's going to be really difficult. Can't be a manned crew. It's going to have to be unmanned. It's going to have to be something we've already got in space, because we're out of time. That's why they've ended up with this Juno idea. It's something we've already got going. Is this artificial? If it was, it would represent the most important discovery in human history. Either way, the visitor deserves our full scientific attention until it passes outside our solar system. What do you guys think about that? I'd like to know. I'm going to put a poll in. I should do more of these polls. I always forget. I'll put this in. Hold on. I think they're giving me a few more characters now. It's always so short on these. There we go. All right, you guys can tell me what you think. All right, thank you everybody for being here. There's your poll. What is the interstellar traveler? What do you think it is? You think it's aliens? Do you think it's an ancient alien craft, like maybe a craft that's been dormant for 1,000 years or 100,000 years, and it's still just floating out there? I mean, this thing would be pretty long. It'd be about 5 times the size of Battlestar Galactica, if you're into that. It would be, oh Jesus, it'd be like 3 Galaxy-class starships end to end, maybe 2, 3. I don't know. It's pretty big. It's a big item. That's possible, Noble Aquarius. That is possible. I think it's more related to the fact that Mars does not have enough gravity to hold the oxygen molecules and the nitrogen molecules down firmly. And I think it's just slowly bled off over the years. Mars has just slightly over 1% of our atmosphere. So our atmosphere, if our atmosphere was 1, Mars would be 0.012 or something like that. It's very, very small amount of atmospheric pressure there. And it's not just that there's no air to breathe, there's no pressure. There's very little pressure, ambient pressure there. Hey, Gunnies. How you doing tonight? I do believe Mars had life on it. I do believe there was life on Mars at one time. I also believe we're not the first technological life to spring up here. I actually believe that we have built up technologically, and we have destroyed ourselves over and over again. It's just a long process. I mean, when we see pyramids that show spacecrafts and guys wearing helmets and stuff, I mean, you start to wonder. Those pyramids, the reason that we don't understand them is because all the metal is gone. All that's left is the stone. If you come and look today, what would be left of Washington, D.C. in 2,000 years or 5,000 years? Well, the stone would still be there. Much of that stone, much of those monuments would still be there. But none of the metal. The cars would all be gone. Completely gone. Run into the earth. You might see a little rust stain. All of the computers, even the plastics, gone. So basically, what would be left of DC in 10,000 years is exactly what we see left in the pyramids. All that's left is the stone monuments. And they've got strange holes that run down through them where the wires used to go. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there was a whole different technology available. I believe the pyramid builders were one step above us in technological evolution. I believe they were able to manipulate gravity. That's the next big scientific achievement that humans have. We have to conquer gravity. Once we can conquer gravity, we can do anything. We can now float an entire city into space if we want to. It all comes down to just being able to take gravity and turn it off. Take and put a field around something and make it weigh nothing. And well, Aquarius, I don't put it in quite those words, but I do agree. If you actually just believe that there's no such thing as other intelligences, extraterrestrial life, extra-dimensional life, extra-temporal life, if you believe that all of that is just complete bullshit, then your mind is so closed that there's no sense in even arguing about it. because the evidence is everywhere. Like I tell people, they say, you know, all these UFO reports are bullshit. Really? You know, MUFON gets 6,000 reports a year, the Mutual UFO Reporting Network. They actually get thousands of legitimate reports that were sent in by legitimate people with pictures and information. Now, let's say 95% of them are full of shit. That still leaves a bunch of people that saw real UFOs. Yep. You got to look at it this way. When you have something that literally, you have hundreds of people that witness beings. You have thousands of people that witness these crafts, hundreds of thousands of people that witness these flying saucers and things. There has to be truth to it. It cannot be bullshit. Now we've got our own fighter jet pilots. They're now allowed to come out and talk about it, and they are. They've been seeing these things since World War II and the Foo Fighters. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, I can hang out with anybody, no matter what your politics are. But if you've got a closed mind, I start to have a real problem. Because I'm a science guy. But I'm an open-minded science guy, and I like to see it for what it is. I like to research things and understand things. Many people believe the aliens are God. What if we're all just in a petri dish in a time dilation field? It makes more sense than anything else. They create this universe. Everything's spaced out so far you can't possibly get to the next thing, and we're in a petri dish, and they're testing us. And you know what? They're running us at 1,000 times speed, so that way they can do civilization after civilization after civilization. South Park made an episode about this, so it's got to be true. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's a real good chance that we're the experiment, and they're the watchers in the duck blind. We see these craft every now and then, only when their cloaking field messes up or something. They never talk to us, but yet they abduct us in the middle of the night, bring us back. They try not to disturb the timeline too much. Why? Because they are literally studying how we kill ourselves. And they're doing it over and over and over again. This is probably the 10th time or the 100th time they've run this experiment, because they're running it in a time dilation field. Look, if you can manipulate gravity, right? The next thing is to completely manipulate energy, and once you can do that, you can probably manipulate how time passes. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Well, Aquarius, I'd like to believe that. I really would. I'd better do something soon, because it's getting really messed up. Yeah, there's a lot of people that believe that. Now, we're relatively sure that, you know, here's the thing. We look into space, and we make a lot of assumptions. I like when these guys say, yeah, there's 3 planets circling this sun that's 50 billion miles away, and we can tell this because of how much the star dims when they go by, the shadow, and I'm thinking, you guys are really guessing. I mean, it's a lot of guesswork, really. Yeah, but Aquarius, we always come back to the same thing of, if someone was from another planet and they were here and they had decided that it was time to make contact with us, they wouldn't do it in a chat room on the internet. They would come and they would do it officially. And I kind of wonder how this. I've listened to folks talk about what you're talking about right now on Coast, and it's Coast to Coast, and it's intriguing. It's intriguing. But I kind of don't understand the mechanics of how it's happening. What are they waiting on? Did they send people here to kind of get us ready? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to know more about why. What are we waiting for? If that's the case, then what are we waiting for? Yeah. And yeah, Gunny, you're right. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We look into space, we assume. We see these big lit up clouds out there, and we're like, what the hell's that? Oh, they'll tell you what it is. It's nitrogen and hydrogen, and they'll tell you all kinds of shit. And they might be right. I'm not. I mean, they're very smart folks. Come on, but yeah. So I don't know. So like I said, I think I would like to just see it get going. That's all. All right, let's see what do we got going on. I've been on about 2 hours and 25 minutes. This is Starship Adventures, and we are live tonight in North Fort Myers here at Starship Studios. And I do want to welcome everybody. If you haven't been with us before, this is Starship Studios, and I'm here every night except maybe Saturdays. I'm here pretty much every night and about every other Saturday too. And what I do basically is what you're seeing right now. I do news and updates, and we get into science and ham radio and terrestrial weather, space weather, all kinds of good stuff, and breaking news. Yeah, but okay, and that's cool. But do you have access to the technology? Now, who is Hag? I guarantee that's somebody else's screen name that got changed tonight. I don't, guys. We don't know what's going on tonight, but some of our people are coming up with different screen names, like old ones they used or a different one or something, and we don't know exactly what's going on. Project Bluebeam. Read about it. Interesting as hell. Have no idea. I believe lie detectors. Here's the thing about lie detectors, okay? Lie detectors are a tool, they're not a definitive thing. I've taken a polygraph for my job when I got into a job in law enforcement. I had to take a polygraph, and I had to tell them if I had stolen anything, if I had smoked anything, if I had done anything, and I was truthful. I got through it, and luckily at the time, and even now, I don't have a whole lot of regrets in my life. But polygraphs do not tell if you're lying or not. What polygraphs will do is they'll help a well-trained polygraph operator in determining whether you are being truthful or not. And I know I'm playing with words, but why do you think they're not admissible in court? Because it's not a science. I mean, I hate to say it, but truth detectors or lie detectors, they're literally just a couple steps from getting a psychic. There's real science there. I believe in psychics too, but I also believe that it's a lot of guesswork. It's a lot of just trying to figure stuff out, and it's a lot of intuition, and it's a lot of the other side helping, and there's a lot of things that go into it. But I don't know. When it comes to lie detector tests, I'm not much on them. But I also do believe that they can be used in the right application to try to figure out if someone is being deceitful or not. And that's about where I'm going to leave that. Oh, come on, guys. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Size and time are two things in space that are so big we can't even understand it. Like, it takes so long to get places in space, it's beyond our lifetime. And the vastness is so far that we don't even. They say they know how far all these stars are. Again, it's a scientific guess how far they actually are away. Uh, Well, I can honestly say I have not had an NDE or a near-death experience. I have. I've spoke to 3 or 4 people that have. When I was doing my paranormal research show years ago, I interviewed 2 or 3 different people that had NDEs, and they all had the same experience. Of course, there's some variance, but I do believe there's real truth to near-death experiences. I do. I believe. I believe what these people come back with is an actual experience. Let me just put it that way. I don't believe it's the mind losing oxygen and grasping at straws to survive, and all these doctors come up with all this bullshit. I do actually believe in near-death experiences quite a bit. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. Quantum computing. Yeah. Yeah, I hate Windows, but I use it because I know it's the better of the three. I can't stand Android, and I really hate Apple. So I'm good with Windows. That's why I stay with it. But it's not a real clear, good operating system. Hey, Callie. Got a good crowd in tonight. We've had some numbers come through. I do appreciate you guys coming on. And it looks like the bourbon cam came back up. Looks like zombies. It's only 10:30 out there. They're walking around like zombies. Oh boy. Well, we did the news. We did everything else. Is there anything you guys would like me to cover real quick before I sign off? That's about my 20th yawn. I apologize to you guys for the yawns. I don't know what the hell. What I'm doing here with these yawning. All this yawning. For those just joining, I got a car, and I've already all the stuff pretty much is in for it. I'm setting it up to be able to go and drive and be online on here, and be able to storm chase with it. And I'm putting some basic shit in the trunk, and I'm just gonna have some basic equipment with me, and I'm gonna be able to go out and if breaking news happens. If we have some big thing happen here, I'm going to get in the car and drive to it. I've got everything ready to go here if I have to cover something live. I even have portable boxes I can hook up on poles and stuff and get us views from there. That's interesting. Now that explains that, Aquarius, because I didn't understand how you're here and your stuff's there. But that makes more sense now. I get that. Okay. All right, guys. Last call for comments or suggestions for anything you want me to bring up real quick. In the meantime, I'm going to put out a few links for you guys, and we'll see what else is going on out there. I do know that... oh, crap. Let me pull this up here. If you guys could, I'd appreciate it. Stop by and give our other channel a like. We've got the 7.2 up over there, which is kind of like CB for ham radio. It's actually a lot of fun to listen to. If you're into trolling, that's where the trolls are. They're over on the 7.2. Have a good time with that, and see if you like that. The other thing that I have here that is we are now on every month. I'm going to pick a new service to get us up on, and this month it was the first one we're doing here is actually Discord. And here we go. I'm trying to find my links. There we are. Oh, nope, that's not it either. Here we go. Okay, so here's our Discord server. If you guys are on Discord, check it out over there. I've got I got a thread over there called Breaking News Only. And if you guys put something in there, it's supposed to alert me on my phone. Only put incidents of magnitude, please. Other than that, everything else on there, we've got space weather, we got all kinds of different stuff. And, you know, feel free to go in there and post links and news articles and whatever you guys want to do. No, there's not. Justin TV went out of business. And back then, archiving video, even at 640 by 420 or whatever it was we were shooting in, our 4 and 5 hour shows would have been very long. There's no way I could have downloaded them back then. One show would have taken up both of my hard drives. I mean, it was difficult. And then Justin folded up and went out of business, and I literally lost everything. There is a few things still online that you can get to from my old show. I could probably show you guys if you want to humor me for a minute here and give me just a second. I'll pull it up. There is a few videos here I can show you real quick. Let's see if I can get it to come up. It's hard to get it to come up because it's been so long since I've done anything. Yeah, here we go. All right, I can show you guys some stuff that I did from a long time ago if you guys want. I mean, I don't normally bore people with this, but if you guys will find it fun, we can do it. This is from my paranormal research days. All right, let's see here. Let me get everything set up. Hold on. All right, are you ready? Here we go.
Florida's own primetime news source. News with Patrick Nolan, Amy Wegman, and Skyward for weather with Jim Science. This is Fox 4 News at 10.
On the hunt for ghosts in Southwest Florida. You may not be a believer, but a local ghost hunting group tells us they are convinced ghosts are real and they have the tools to prove it. In this morning for a special report, Emily Ditchner went along to find out.
Who knows what we'll find? It's after midnight on a Saturday night in Lehigh Acres, and I'm meeting up with the Florida Paranormal Research Group. They're here every Saturday conducting a ghost hunt, and they're showing the world every spooky thing they see thanks to the internet.
Hello, everybody. We're back. This is Saturday Night Paranormal, and we're broadcasting live tonight from Lehigh Acres, Florida.
They're here tonight because of a tragic accident that claimed a man's life nearby.
A gentleman had gotten electrocuted working in the assignments right on the property of that house.
That house is where we'll be spending the next several hours in the dark, in the middle of the night, looking for ghosts.
I do believe that spiritual energy can cause harm when it's trying to contact us.
As we enter, it's all I can do to quiet my pounding heart when all of a sudden...
So is the person here who scratched John earlier? I appreciate you doing it again. Absolutely. You don't have permission to hurt any of us.
And as we make our way into the pool room, that's when the equipment starts to come out.
I picked up EMF presences around the area.
Okay.
So you'll see, if you see like little dots, it's picking out some kind of signal. And it'll throw out randomizing words too. But that.
The group tells me the dots mean ghosts, and the words that are appearing on the screen are what they're trying to say to us. Afraid pops up first. Understatement. John goes on to explain the equipment, and then...
Here. Observe. You're observing us.
Okay, so we're picking up blue, and so that means there's multiple dots everywhere. I mean, ghosts everywhere. You won't believe what happened next.
I can't get to take pictures.
John Ian says it happens all the time, that spirits require energy to manifest, and they pull it from electronics in the room.
One time, we had 9 pieces of equipment all on the table, and they all went dead almost simultaneously.
We moved on to another room, all the while calling out for the ghosts to make contact again. But Ian says this behavior creates confusion.
We're asking them, make contact with us. Let us know that you're here. And then they get scratched. And then everybody wants the conclusion that it's negative or that it's evil. They're simply trying to let us know that they're here.
And throughout the night, that idea became more and more evident.
I just got a shock.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
What just happened?
I just got a shock. I'm not quite sure why, but
It's this type of excitement and curiosity that attracts hundreds of people to watch these investigations online every.
That's what the show looked like. It was a multi-screen show. And what it basically was, notice it says Justin TV, what it does is we would broadcast on the red channel. And then each room we were investigating had its own broadcast. We were so far ahead of our time, most people's computers couldn't even watch half of this shit. We were just too far ahead of our time. If I did this today, I could probably do it. It would probably be a lot more successful. But they had a live chat room, which we recorded the chat room so we could go back and use it like a logbook. People would put the time if they saw something. And then each room that we were investigating had its own player. So whatever your computer could handle, you could watch all 5 at one time. But we would refer to them by color. You would say purple channel, yellow channel, green channel, blue channel, red channel. And you would put, 2235 red channel, something moved to the left of the chair. And then we could go back and check it out later. It was a great idea. We called it virtual ghost hunting. And it was a really cool thing. I'll let this finish up, and then I got a few more things I can show you.
Saturday night.
One of the stresses that many people live with out there is what happens to me when I die. If we could definitively answer that question, I think people would have a lot less stress in their lives.
Paranormal researchers broadcast their ghost hunts live on the web every Saturday night. For a link to that site, just go to fox4now.com and click on the big red 4.
This is Fox 4.
So there you go. Like I said, I did Florida paranormal research for 6 or 8 years, and I put it down one day because I couldn't get anybody to do anything anymore. It just, nobody wanted to be a scientist. Everybody wanted to be the guy like the guy on TV. And I couldn't get anybody to write papers. I couldn't get anybody to document shit. I couldn't get anybody to go back and review videos. I was doing it all myself, and I was frazzled and burnt out and working 2 jobs. And finally I gave it up because I never could find scientists to work with me. All I could find was a bunch of people that wanted to pretend to be scientists one day a week, and that was about it. And it sucked in a way, but I met a lot of great people. I worked with a lot of wonderful people, and I don't know. I have no regrets at all about doing it. What's this here? Oh, I can't see. That's got music in it. I got to be careful because back then all my shit had copyrighted music in it. A lot of the openers and all that kind of stuff. Here's another quickie. It's 2 minutes. This is another news story that they did on me at Captain Khan's. This, by the way, before we get into this, this restaurant has been completely destroyed by 3 hurricanes. It's gone. It's completely gone. Sad too, because I love this place. I went on my first date there with a girlfriend. It's gone. Here we go. Let's watch this.
Have you ever heard things go bump in the night and you can't explain it? Have you ever seen a ghost? Well, you may be interested to know that right here in Southwest Florida.
By the way, that's Chris Safati. I still work with him. I see him every day. He comes over and reads news for me every day. This was like 15 years ago or something, so I'm like, holy crap.
Ghost hunters investigating the paranormal. David Bowden talked with members of Paranormal Research Incorporated at a peculiar restaurant and got some haunting results.
From the outside of Captain Khan's Fish House, it doesn't look so scary. Quaint surroundings, a nice restaurant by the water. But some say there's something odd going on inside.
That's all gone now.
Not the fish special. Ian Hicken is the founder of Florida Paranormal Research. He's investigated this place before.
With hauntings like this, it's not necessarily someone who died here. It may have been someone who spent their whole life working here.
Ian hosts an internet ghost hunting show that he's produced for the last 3.5 years. The former firefighter says he's seen his share of tragedy and believes that led him to paranormal studies.
Something very strange happens at the moment of death. And so it became my passion to research what happens at that moment.
As a reporter, I was skeptical. Then I noticed something. Okay, hold on one second. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? What?
Ghosts?
No, the lamp right behind you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's moving.
What is?
I don't feel a lot of breeze around it. That's cool.
I can tell you the light moved and stopped several times. It was...
Okay, spoiler alert, because you don't find out this in the story. Later that night, we literally taped a plastic bag around that light, and we did some testing because we thought it was wind. We were putting up shields around that light, and it kept moving, and then we realized it was moving about twice an hour, and we realized what it was. When the refrigerator unit that's on the back side of that wall would shut off, it would go blah, 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 and the light would move a little bit. We debunked it. I was more interested in the truth than I was the excitement.
It was not the fan you see in the background causing it. There was no breeze or open doors.
What I like about Captain Khan's Fish House is we generally always get activity here, and the activity is usually very positive.
At least for one of us. In Bokeelia, I'm David Bowden. Wink News Now.
Well, there you go. And that was another good story there. That one was actually done by where I work. And we had, I don't know, probably 4, 5, 6 different news stories that were done on us over time. Oh, I'd love to play this, but I think it's full of music. I think it is. Yeah, it's slap full of copyrighted music. You know what? I'll show you this without the music. All right? This is a promo that we did to get people to join our team. This was some of my very early video editing, too. We were the White Noise Paranormal Network. This was at Ringling Brothers. That was our trailer that we had. And that's a neat cemetery in Arcadia where my family's buried. But anyway, this video, it just kind of, it goes, damn this thing. There's a horrible lag on this computer right now, and I don't know why. I think YouTube's been having issues for 2 or 3 days now. Well, I got one more if you guys want. It's up to you. This one is at the Clewiston Inn. Let's do one more. Man, something's wrong with this damn thing.
Live from Southwest Florida's #1 primetime newscast. This is Fox 4 News at 10. Next on Fox 4 News at 10.
There's no doubt in my mind that there's something going on. I can't explain it.
Ghosts in Southwest Florida? Fox 4 goes into the shadows with local ghost hunters.
Do you believe in ghosts? Many of your fellow Southwest Floridians are convinced they have felt the presence of a ghost, especially in Bokeelia. It's on the north end of Pine Island. They say there is something going on at Captain Khan's Fish House. Employees and patrons, including my nephews, Ryan and Shawnee, we went there, all claim the restaurant is haunted. And now a group known as the Florida Paranormal Research Team is investigating. And Fox 4's Rosemary Connors is joining them for the ghost hunt.
The tide comes and goes, the sun rises and sets, but here, time stands still. And it's not the only thing still standing. What is now Captain Khan's Fish House is one of the original hangouts in Bokeelia.
There was nothing here. I mean, you didn't have a Winn-Dixie or there was nothing out here way back then, just fishermen.
Before Captain Khan's, this restaurant was a hotel and a bar that gave the fishermen a place to call home.
They used to come to the bar to drink and fight.
Jan Kellogg grew up here. As an adult, she works here. And now Jan believes her haunt may be haunted.
There's no doubt in my mind that there's something going on. I can't explain it.
Like the time a fellow waitress was cleaning up after hours.
She come running out of there because all she saw was a pair of white boots go across the hallway. And the guy had a yellow slicker on. And she comes screaming. She says, I am not cleaning the bathrooms because I am not going back there.
Jan tells me strange things happen here. The doors lock on their own, the staff hears voices, and the customers hear them too.
They just say, do you know this place is haunted? Because they can feel something.
But feeling something is not enough to call a place haunted.
Definitely need to take that down. Definitely need a camera here. I'd like to get a camera here.
That's why Ian Hicken and his volunteer team of paranormal researchers are at Captain Khan's to investigate.
We find that there is more spiritual activity in older structures.
Ian is a retired fire chief, and many on the Florida Paranormal Research crew are emergency service workers.
When you work around death as much as I used to, you start to want to see what happens before and after that.
He explains that hauntings typically stem from some kind of unfinished business.
I believe that if someone is a very positive person and they pass through positive means, that they have no reason to stay behind, and they generally don't. We don't get a lot of spiritual energy in hospitals and nursing homes where a lot of people die.
Before the investigation begins, the lights gotta go. Now we can start the ghost hunt. It's my first hunt, and I'm definitely a novice.
I gotta tell you, I feel a little uneasy, mostly because I'm in the dark in a restaurant. It feels like we're deserted, but I can't tell if I feel uneasy because of the circumstances or because I'm afraid of what we're gonna find.
It's ironic, but to find anything, the lights have to be out. The idea is if there are any spirits, they can manifest their energy only in the electromagnetic equipment used by the researchers. We're talking infrared cameras, digital cameras, thermal detectors, and special audio recorders which pick up any sounds or voices that you may not hear until you listen to the tape.
We call them electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP. Those are prevalent in almost every hunt we do.
To get the spirits to talk, the researchers provoke them.
Can you tell us your name?
Show yourself to us. We're here for you.
No answer. The hunt has been quiet, except for a spike on the K2 meter.
There it goes again. Yeah, there it goes.
Is there somebody here that wants to speak with us?
It's just before 1:30 in the morning, and we've been through the restaurant about 4 times over the past few hours. Now, there hasn't been any real sign of spiritual activity, but until all of the research has been reviewed, we won't know for sure. Now, I am no paranormal researcher, but I do know when something's not right. Once we got back to the station and I started looking at some of our tapes, I found something that was totally out of place. Now, let me set the scene for you. You're going to see one of the investigators talking to me, and I say, yeah. And then right after that, you're going to hear a whisper. To me, it sounds like somebody saying, all right. I don't know. Here's the clip. You be the judge.
That's debunked. Because that breeze, especially as breezy it is, can make that note coming out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna.
So is the dead trying to communicate with us? Who can say for sure? But if there is something here, it has stood the test of time. In Bokeelia, Rosemary Connors, Fox 4 News.
All right. Before the ghost hunt, the investigators instructed everyone not to whisper or speak softly for that very reason. The team is still reviewing its tapes and will let you know if they find anything interesting, like Rosemary did. To find out more about the Florida Paranormal Research Group, including how to become an investigator on the team, just go to our website, fox4now.com.
Fox 4 News. We keep pushing till we find answers. We don't just cover news, we uncover news. Fox 4 in your corner.
Well, there you go. It's from, that's the Fox 4 affiliate here in Fort Myers. They did several stories with us, and so did Wink. Wink did several with us as well. Our local media here is, pretty good about stuff like that. And at the time, I wasn't working there. I mean, I wasn't working in media. This was 15, 16 years ago. I've been in media about 14 years. So this was like a year or two before I went to work there. Yeah, I hope that souls aren't stuck places everywhere all the time. I'm hoping that that's more of a rare thing. Yeah. Oh, well, I appreciate the vibes. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming in. We're here almost every night, and we always find very interesting things to talk about, plus breaking news and everything else that's going on in the world. We have talked about a lot of stuff tonight. There was a lot of news going on. I was about an hour and a half into the news rundown. It was pretty good. All right, let's see here. I've got, let me see here. Give me just a second. Let me try this link here. My channels are still up, which is kind of cool. All my stuff, I got great videos I'd love to show you guys, but it's all the music that makes them great. Yeah, here's one we can do. Here's one we can do. This
All right,
man,
everyone, I want to thank you.
This man that you're about to see, his name is Paul Benstein, and we lost him last year. He died. He had cancer.
All right, everyone.
And he is a wonderful soul that helped me run my paranormal research team for a number of years. And he worked hard. He did a lot in his life, and he did a lot of philanthropy. And I just want to mention this because Paul Benstein's a really good man, and I just want to put it out there anytime I talk about him. He co-hosted with me for a while. He's just a good guy, and his family lost him last year. What a shame. He devoted part of his life to providing services, church-type services, what you want to call it, spiritual services, I guess, to people that are in prison. And he never got paid a penny for it. He would go, he had a special thing, he could go in, and he had times with the prisoners, and he would help them, and it was, I don't know, man. There was a good place for him when he died. I know there's a good place waiting for him because he was a good man. All right, let's just leave that there. But this is Paul Benstein, or Penstein as he pronounced it, and me at the the SS Victory, the SS American Victory, which is a merchant marine vessel that was used in World War II and brought back the bodies of our soldiers in the freezers. And this ship is extremely haunted, and we did a number of investigations from there. We had quite a relationship with the ship. They liked us because we brought people to them for their tours, because we were giving them free advertisement. And then they let us use the ship all night for nothing. So it was gratis. It worked out good. Anyway, here we go. This is a little bit of a clip of one of the show segments that we did. And like I said, the man you're going to see here, his name is Paul Benstein. All right, and let's go ahead and let me get this back over here. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, and remember, yes, the resolution is absolute shit. You have to remember when this was done. Video online was in its infancy back then. So, all right, here we go. There was five teams
All right, everyone,
on this.
I want to thank everyone for coming along on this investigation with us. I want to point out how everyone on this investigation has really put in a lot of time and effort. The ship that is hosting us, they have done a great job. They've bent over backwards helping us jump through hoops. It's been nothing but a privilege for myself and Ian Hicken to work with this group. And the ship, I ain't gonna lie, we've had some hassles trying to get things up and going and whatnot. And, you know, when it comes to investigations like this, we always do have technical issues. I don't care how much we try to plan ahead, they just completely happen.
Well, I explained to him earlier when we started the show, what we're doing with an internet connection is not something that's supposed to be done with an internet connection. They're not designed to have 5 or 6 computers streaming, uplinking video at the same time.
Do you believe this? This is so fun to watch these old videos. This was back when we were literally overdriving the internet back then to even send this piece of shit. I've had this mustache since I was 21 years old. I was the youngest fire lieutenant in Lee County. And I had some guy one day, when he was told that I was in charge, he said, I thought he was an explorer scout. And the chief told me, he goes, just grow a mustache. Get over it. And so I grew a mustache. I've had this mustache since I was 21 years old. Because I had a baby face back then. You can tell it's still a little chubby face. And I had a baby face back then. And this is what kept people from thinking I was a kid. I never wanted to be thought of as younger or a kid. I never wanted to be thought of that way. I was the kid that always hung out with the adults. You know what I'm saying? I was always like hanging out with the older kids. I was always, and I didn't like that. Anyway, so I didn't want to be thought of as younger than I actually was, because I looked younger than I was, and I was more mature than I am. So I wanted to be on the other side of it anyway. Now I'd love to look 10 years younger, but anyway, so there you go. But anyway, it's hot in this ship. That's why we're sweating, if you're wondering. The air didn't quite keep up in there because of the way they had it all set up. We are actually in the captain's galley here. And yeah, the resolution is terrible because I've got 3 or 4 other streams on this same internet connection, and it's bogging down bad.
So when we show up on a location, we're going to push it further than it's supposed to even be pushed.
Okay.
And so anytime you, by virtue of habit, go out and push systems to the max to get done what we're trying to get done, there's going to be technical issues. And I'll tell you, you know, we had the issues we had today. We had internet problems. We had to completely go through the system 3 or 4 times. We had to go buy more wire. We had to run different wire. We had to put new plugs in. We spent another $100 today on wire to make this happen. The point is we never know what's going to happen when we come on these. We came out and tested the internet. It was 100%. It was great. And, you know, what happens? You get out here and things change a little bit, because once you put the load on there, you're going to have problems. It's like you could have a transformer out in front of your house that works for 10 years. But the one day that you really need that heater all through the night, you're going to overheat that transformer and it's going to pop because you're putting that extra load on it. And that's what we're doing with internet connections.
But I'll tell you what, we did try to plan ahead of time. We went and bought all this wiring for our Ethernet cables. We bought all.
Do you hear the interference? That's because we literally are using like CRT monitors and shit. The equipment was old, man. Even the stuff we were using was not the newest stuff because we didn't all have a lot of money. We were using whatever shit we could borrow from people and come up with. And you could hear what sounds like a Jacob's ladder going in the background. And I actually think that is the Jacob's ladder. We were using a Jacob's ladder because it puts out gross amounts of electromagnetic energy. And I went back, and now I can't remember. I thought they were doing that on the other end of the ship. But I hear a Jacob's ladder in there every now and then. Anyway, it's a weird thing. I'll let this play for a couple more minutes.
Different connectors so that we can pre-cut right here at the ship the lengths we need it, where we didn't have anything too short and we didn't have piles wrapped up of extras. You know, once again, unforeseen. If it can happen, it will happen, and it did. We cut the wires, and we had them where we wanted. We had our techs going to put the new ends on them so that we can plug in everything to the internet. And what happened? What happens was we hooked it all up, and the ends were no good. They weren't making a connection. So here we are with all this wire, all these connectors that just do not work. And what did we have to do? We had to go
You got to say one thing for me. Unlike Cracker Barrel, my branding is consistent. Notice the red and the blue spotlight. Everything I do is red and blue spotlight. And all my logos, all my AI generated thumbnails and postage stamps, all of my videos, even right now, I got a blue light here and a red light here. That is branding. Branding is so important. And notice, even back then, it's the same branding. I've always had this branding because it works. When you look down the page, you will know that's me because the picture is mostly red on one side and blue on the other. No matter what it is, that's my motif, and that's the branding. That color branding, shape branding, size. These things are important when it comes to even YouTube channels. It's a big deal.
Oh, last minute. Luckily for us, there was a supply place around here where we were able to get a hold of the cable.
You and I met last night at Home Depot and spent $100. So that was last night, and then we get here today, and what we bought last night didn't work.
Nope.
So we had to go out today and buy additional wire and cable.
I don't even remember why that was.
But the point is, all the stuff we purchased both times can all be used in the future. That's the good thing.
Oh yeah.
So
But-
we haven't wasted anything. It's just we've spent a lot on this investigation. So
Well, you know, the thing is it's kind of a good thing to talk about this. You know, I'm sure a lot of you people at home are, you know, have their own groups, or obviously a lot of them are interested in how this works. So, you know, if they have their own group or considering it, they have an idea what's going on. Right. And, you know, one thing to keep in mind is, you know, Ian and I were very fanatical about how we get things done. We plan way ahead of time. We don't take things for granted. You know, we train our teams properly. We do exercises to make sure that they're ready for anything we put before them. We have rules set. I mean, we're very intricate in our planning, but yet things like this happen. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's a good learning experience, even for you guys at home if you're thinking of doing.
See, I had technical problems even back then. Technical problems almost seem to be like par for the course, no matter what you do, because and I've learned this at my work. The only way that you can literally get around having a lot of technical problems is to spend a lot of money. And I'm not shitting you. They spend a lot of money. They're very professional broadcast. I work for one of the largest locally owned broadcast companies in the country. And we are locally owned and operated. I walk in, I know my station manager on a first name, and yet I'm in a building where 270 people work in there. We've got 2 print media, I think 9, 10, 11 radio stations. I lose count. And 3 or 4 TV stations. We've got 6 of the top 10 radio stations, I think, in the area here. I mean, we kick ass. And the reason that they do so well, one of the reasons is because they put a lot of money into making sure it doesn't fail. We've got our entire radio station runs on batteries. We can stay on batteries for several minutes while the generator's firing up and getting up to speed. Our station never goes down. I mean, it's a very rare occasion. And when it does, it's something big failed or something. We've even got a backup transmitter, a half-power transmitter, and we can be back up on that. Remote control. We don't even have to drive out there. We can be up on the backup. We've got a backup site transmitter link as well that's always hot. So when you start looking at it, we've got double redundancies, we've got power redundancies, battery backups, everything. I mean, you spend the money. I can't afford that here. If the power goes out right now, bye. I've got a few battery backups here and there, but it doesn't keep up at 5% or 10% of the studio. The fiber mostly, and the security system and stuff like that is on the little box up there. And the big box I had down here on my main system, it blew up. So it happens. I got my little kitty cat video in here, and all those cats grew old and died already. That's how old these videos are. That mama kitty that had those kittens, I took her in, and I kept the runt and I kept the mama. and I kept them for their whole life, and they both lived to be almost 20 years old. And I'm sitting here, and then I just come across their little kitten video. That's just, oh my God. I miss those guys. That's about all there is on this one. Let me go look on the other one. I was going to sign off anyway, so this is a bonus. I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. Everybody's quit commenting, so it's like everybody went to bed. Let's sleep. This is the problem. I lost so much of my video when Justin TV went out. That was it. We lost everything. God, that's really about it. All right, well, it was fun. But yeah, that just shows you kind of what I did anyway. Oh, I got, oh, well, thanks, Galactic. I don't know where Ed is. Or Mama. Hold on, I'll look. They're probably, I bet you Eddie's right outside. Oh, I had to stand up anyway. Oh, my God. Hey, Ed. You look like a drowned rat. You should come in out of the rain more. This cat, she'll go lay on a wet thing. She don't care. She's all wet and nasty. You're like an old mop. This is Mama Bleeper. We call her that because she's a mama cat and her tongue's always hanging out. Our cat names are very basic. We got Ed Earl. I had a John Luke, but he got run over intentionally. If I ever find out who did that, probably won't be doing a show from prison. Here we go, loving on the mic. She, you know, a lot of people love mic time, but she's ridiculous. I thought I had more stuff in here. Oh, here we go. Again, I can't play the music. This sucks. There is like so much, but the bad part is I don't really have like any like air checks of my actual show. I just don't, because back then downloading an hour of a show was kind of crazy. I'm trying to see, that one I just showed you was a clip from a show. It is pouring outside here. What the hell's going on? Hold on, Mama. I gotta see what's going on. I'll tell you, I got a flood warning at 5:30 in the morning. That doesn't happen very often. And it wasn't raining much here, but boy, our coast was getting slammed. It's happening again tonight. Same thing that happened last night. You guys see this? It's forming up all along the coast. Look at that. Here it comes. Last night, this got to the point, all of this out here, all of this was completely full of just nothing but yellow and orange. And I was like, man, and it was so bad that right here, Sanibel Island and Pine Island, which that's where that Captain Khan's restaurant used to be, right up on the north end of that island right there, where my cursor is. But anyway, that's this morning, they were under a flood warning, a flash flood warning, They were getting quite a bit of rain, and it wasn't even raining here. That's Florida. Florida's crazy that way. You can be flooded in one town, and the next town still got a drought going on. Because we get this whole thing with these sea breezes. This doesn't have anything to do with the sea breeze. This is just a lot of moisture out in the Gulf. The Gulf gets really hot this time of year. You know, right now the Gulf of America is probably, oh Christ, I don't know, 87, 88 degrees over there. And so at night, when the air begins to sink at night, it gets cooler. What happens is the water becomes warmer than the air, and that begins to lift. And once that lift starts, you begin to form rain offshore. Well, at night, the rain forms offshore, and it'll move onshore. During the day in Florida, mostly all the rain that forms during the day will form on land and move towards the coast. So, and then here, we're seeing this tonight. I'll back out. You can see all the way up the entire coast. It's all forming along the coast. And that's because the water is so warm that as the air condenses and cools as we get into evening, it begins to form lift in the atmosphere, because that warm, moist water rises up through that cooler air, and it creates lift. And when that happens, you start getting the nighttime rains. Then during the day, the radiational heating heats the land at a higher rate than it heats the water, and that's why the land is where we get the storms during the day. Mama, you're just a pain in the ass. Victor told me to come get you, and now I'm like, oh God, thanks, Victor. Jeez. Gotta deal with this cat now. You need a butt jewel. Anyway, so, yep, that's what we got going on. And there's been no tornado warnings tonight to speak of. There was just that one right before I went live. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it just, we're up in this area here. That little bit of rain just came through here. We'll get little spritz, little bits of rain all night like that. And then, come morning, we might actually get, there might actually be some real heavy rain along the coast again this morning. We'll get another one of those. All right, I've been on for 3 hours and 17 minutes. Is there anything you guys want me to mention or bring up or anything? Because I think everybody's about done. I know I am. Hey, no problem. I love doing this. That's why I've stuck with it for 5 years. And I do love doing this. So I'll be here with you guys tomorrow night. I'll be back on at 9 p.m. Come hell or high water, which both have been happening lately. And we'll see how it goes. If you guys have any topic suggestions, there is a Discord for topic suggestions, and you can throw them right in there. Also, I just pasted what I thought was my Discord link in there, and it turned out to be a set of coordinates for something. I don't know where I would have even picked that up. All right, here's our Discord. Just so you know, myself and 2 or 3 or 4 other people that are regulars in the show are all posting news stuff on there too. We've got a section for space weather. We got a section for terrestrial weather. A section for ghosts and shit. I mean, a section for volcanoes and earthquakes. There's all kinds of neat stuff on there. Pick your science, pick your poison, and feel free to post a picture or a news story. But the main thing I want to tell you about is there's 2 sections in there. One, show suggestions. If there's something you want me to talk about, just pop it in there. Hey, I'd love to hear you talk more about ghosts, or I'd like to, whatever. Just throw it in there. If you've got links, if you've got information on what you want me to cover, put it in there. That's why we're using Discord, because it allows you to put links and shit in. And then the other thing is the breaking news in Discord. I've got my alerts in my phone set to alert me if you put something in breaking news. We'll do this till the trolls figure it out. But this way, at least, if you see something, my biggest weakness right now doing this kind of coverage is sometimes big things will happen and I'm busy working on my software or working on this or working on that, and I don't know. And that is like the biggest problem I have right now, is dealing with the fact that sometimes I'm 2 hours behind the game on breaking news. It's not as big a deal now that I'm on every night at 9. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's certain things, like certain times of the day where things really get busy, and one of those times is between 9 and midnight Eastern. That's a time when that's usually one of the busiest news times, and so that's another reason why this works out good. So, hey Victor, no problem. Isn't that right, Mama? Yeah. Did you hear her? She meowed. She's a quiet talker. What's Seinfeld call it? A low talker? She's a very low talker, and I just heard her meow. I rarely ever hear her meow. I see her little mouth moving, and I read lips because you can't really hear her. She's freaky. What are you doing? Oh, it's these things, the lights are running around these things, and it's freaking her out. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. Everybody out there, I hope you guys have a good tomorrow, and we'll see you back here for tomorrow night. And in the meantime, this is Starship Adventures. We are live here in Southwest Florida. Myself and my co-host, Mama Bleeper. And thank you to all my mods out there. Thank you very much, Ding and hey, Simplex Radio and Victor, Junior, lots of folks out there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And thanks to all the folks coming in. Tomorrow night, back here, 9 p.m. We'll see you then. Until then,